can't I hear
We're
you?
muted. We're muted. We're unmuted now.
Oh.
What is happening? What you have two giant tribbles on your lap.
I know. They wanted love and attention. Well,
Right.
first Twix wanted love and attention, so I thought while I was, waiting, I would snuggle him, and then the other ones caught wind of the snuggles and came to invade in the snuggle. So now I have two dogs vying for my attention.
Dogs.
One is in my lap, one is half in my lap. It's gonna be
really jealous that he's not entirely in your lap.
Yeah.
Can you get him up? Can you get both of them up
I
there?
think.
This is chaos. Do it. Go. Oh, grab that butt. That's amazing. You have so many dog right now.
I have so much dog happening.
So much dog.
Look
Twix
at these
looks
dogs.
like 70% less happy.
He is less happy.
Look at them. They have such human faces. They really do. Just keep bonking the mic. Oh my dog. This is the stream today, people.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the same stream. I don't know how I'm about to do the show. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments.
What? I'm so glad that chair can hold it all.
Okay. I'm holding
Look
steady.
how they synchronize themselves. My
I know.
goodness. You can't do the show like this.
Hi, Eights and Link and Sarah and JCD and Jagged, Lolly, Polly, Hootin' Ollie, Golly, what a day.
Yep.
Okay.
Sarah,
Lloydie, Michael. It's good to see you guys. Oh,
yeah, it is.
Thank you for being here for the premiere of
PICARD like this.
Season 3. We're excited to talk about Star Trek.
So excited.
Okay.
So much Star Trek to talk about, and yet we're going to focus on the dogs. This is my first time seeing your faces. Why are you both so beautiful? Then there's Puppers. Ah! Look at us.
Well, welcome to the live shows. Zanj. 86.
Zanjef.
We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us and for the compliments.
Joining us.
Listen, Snary, I want to do a dog stream, but I would like to be able to just like push a button and then have the camera be on their dog bed so that they're not on me. Because they're, they're not small. They're medium.
Are you kidding? They're like medium to big.
You think they're medium to big? I don't think
no,
they're
medium.
I think they're 30. They're like 30-ish pounds, so they're not too bad.
I think Alfie is about 5 pounds. He's so little.
Hi, Frag. It's good to see you.
Frag.
Woo, hype. Woo, ha.
Hey, Katra.
Oh my God. We just finished. Like we literally just finished it. Ian went to grab a coffee. My dogs attacked me. We're live. So we just finished watching the show.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
I just put it on my lap. Oh, right on the penis.
That's great.
The stuff you don't hear in the show.
Wow.
Although that will absolutely be in the outtakes. Possibly the cold open. Ah, my penis. Right.
A Stream Deck can help you with dog cam. I do have a Stream Deck.
You do have
I just got one days ago, so it's very new. Can you hear this?
Yes, mother.
So I can do that now.
Nice.
But I haven't had any time to play around with anything other than making a bleep. So it's pretty lame.
Fair.
I also have to have another camera because a Stream Deck will only help me with button pushing. I still am going to have an extra camera. So, little things that I'll pick up eventually someday.
Yes. Frack,
I missed last week's live stream because of my schedule demands. I feel that. Listen, we had a schedule demand happen today. We usually are live already by now. So thanks for being patient.
A call. Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Work shit comes in. We got to make sure it gets done so that you guys continue to have entertainment to watch on various outlets on the use of tubes.
We don't make calls like that. You don't get content. Look, Daddy,
Yeah.
I made you some content. I made you
Bless. Just spent last hour and a half sweeping up my dog's winter coat and don't think he's finished. Oh, dear. What kind of a dog do you have? I used to have a Saint Bernard, and my God, do they shed. You know, I'm going to turn some music on while we're just playing around before our actual show starts.
You should tell the Saint Bernard story.
What's the Saint Bernard story?
You didn't know it was a Saint Bernard. Until it grew into one.
I mean,
these paws are big.
I knew it was a Saint Bernard when I turned the lights on in the car. It's just when I picked the dog off of the street and then had to drive this couple blocks home, I didn't know what kind of a dog I had just picked up. Yep. But when I turned the interior lights on, once I got my driveway and I saw the patterns of the fur, I was on the phone with my brother and I said, "Oh shit, I think this is a Saint Bernard," and he just laughed at me because I wanted a dachshund. So I wanted a long-haired dachshund, and I was kind of trying to figure out if I was gonna try to buy one because I was broke. Number one, number two, it's hard for me to pay for like fancy dogs when there's so many that need rescue, and so I just was delaying getting a dachshund puppy. And at the time I was doing dog training, so I had a lot of friends around that maybe knew somebody that was going to have a litter, and then it wouldn't be, it was like an accidental litter, and I wouldn't feel quite so bad about buying a dog and all this stuff. So I was in that little the interim moment when I drove home that fateful night and picked up this puppy that I literally saw be chucked out of a window of the car that was in front of me. They came to a halt in the middle of the road, and I couldn't go because they were parked in the street. And they rolled down their window and chucked out a puppy, and that became my dog. That became Madeline. In fact, I have her painting. I don't know if I can show you. Actually, let's see. My arm of my. Can you see the painting up there on the wall?
Little
the
Madeline.
Blue one with Madeline.
Little Madeline.
She was a sweet dog.
Wish I could have met her.
She lived to 13 as a Saint Bernard. And I think that might be because I was a practicing massage therapist at the time, and I really just loved to work on her body, and she was just very loved.
Just massaged and pummeled. Zinc, you are perfectly in time for the discussion. We are
we're just hanging out pre-show.
Anything.
Yes, I'm playing music in the background so that...
No, there's no music. What are you talking about? There's no music. What are you talking about?
It's me. Don't mess around.
There is no music. Oh,
I'm glad you like it, Link. I actually painted that one. Actually, I'm not pulling it down.
Speaking of things in the background.
I painted this. It was like one of those painting classes.
You're so talented. Look at that.
Well,
gorgeous.
Thank you. That was Madeline. I called her my bird, or my princess so her name is Madeline. I turned to Princess Mernsis, Perny Mern.
Perny Mern.
She had a whole bunch of nicknames, but look at that snoot. Look at that snoot.
Boop the
She's
snoot.
So cute.
Boop the snoot. Boop it. Sarah says, "Oh,
Link.
People, you're screwing up my chat thing. Stop messaging so much."
Why are you... Ian! Back off my chat!
No. Ian, someone wants to know what your mug is. Lolly wants to know what's on my mug, and I'm not going to tell you until the end of the show. I'm gonna keep drinking from it, and you can see if you can guess what it's going to be. Because I play games.
Is it I'm a sassy dick and I don't care about the chat? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a sassy and I don't care about the show. I'm a...
Nice. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done on the profanity.
Yeah, exactly, Katra. Don't worry, I got him. I will get him.
Fuck my shit up.
Link, I have to say though, I went to one of those painting classes where you, at least we had them in this area, you send a picture ahead of time and then they pencil out the outline of it, and then you go to paint it and learn how to paint with the they like kind of set the palette up, but it was very hands off. they gave very few instructions, so I definitely take credit for it because it turned out great. But I refuse to do it again because I'm pretty sure that was a fluke. Like, was one of those just I don't know how I did this, but I did it, and if I try to do this again, it's gonna go terribly wrong. So yeah. I am currently owned by 2 dachshunds. They're the most adorable little assholes in the world. I'm happy you were there to save Madeline. Me too. It's a great story. I'm skipping a whole bunch of really cool details about it too. Maybe someday I'll give like the long version. Like
the shoelace coming out of her butt. Yeah.
That's not the story I was thinking of, but yet here we are talking about it. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. We don't care. We don't care. I'm glad you like the Poppers chat, Flyboy, because we will be talking about Picard in just a minute.
Yeah, we will. Ian, I hope you spill tea all over yourself. Ha! It's coffee. So no tea will be spilled.
Oh, someone's liking the TARDIS in the background of yours.
2 TARDISes. Do you know what? I'm going to pull it out. So that TARDIS up there is cool, but this TARDIS down here.
I guess we're showing off the shit in our background today. This is exciting.
This is an original from 2005 when Doctor Who made a comeback, and if you open it. Nope, not that side. You open it, and it's. Oh!
Clip that. What just happened?
Anyway, you open it, and it's the inside of the TARDIS as well. But parts of it, apparently, after nearly 20 years, jump out on a man.
I mean, he's just his own person, you know. Sometimes Ian just has got to be Ian, guys.
I am a dork, whatever. But look,
whatever.
Speaking of dorks, look who's got the fat one. No one wants to buy the fat one. So many Eagle Moss models in this episode.
Oh, you know what?
Where are you going? Oh, could you...
Shoo. 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 It's the Derpa Prize! Woo!
That is in the Starfleet Museum, being looked after by LaForge. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew. Listen.
Yes, because the ship goes pew, 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 pew.
I don't know how to make it have graphics live just yet. You know?
It's coming.
Oh, what if we could? What if there was a way for us to change the background into like, you know, like I put like a green screen behind here and then just.
Oh, it's easily done. We could very easily with a $20 green screen make an opening sequence with the Derpa Prize.
But don't I just need like a piece of paper behind here to just?
No, because it needs to be like, well, yeah. If you're not holding it. Like you need to not be holding it.
No, that's part of what makes the Derpa Prize. The Derpa Prize is that
even the background will be derpy as well.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us live.
So much chat, much talkings. We do love
Jets Mets. Hey, can I tell you a quick story, Jets? So on Twitter, I posted a picture of my chaotic cutting of a piece of pizza. Right?
Oh, it was disgusting.
It's who cares? Who cares how you cut pizza? A lot of people
because you shared it. If you didn't care,
I thought
you
it was
wouldn't
great.
have shared it.
I thought it was great.
Normal.
I was like,
it was
chaos.
That's why you shared
chaos.
It.
No, listen. I knew that it was gonna have waves. I didn't know it might be one of like the most interacted with tweets of all time for me. By the way, my Twitter feed. Very small. So when I say like biggest of all time, it's like 10 people, you know, anyway, here I am. And I'm posting through it. And it says at the bottom of my post, something like reveal hidden tweets or something, or hidden responses or something about muted or quieted.
Okay. Somebody that you've muted?
I clicked it, and apparently at some point I muted Jetsmets.
Oh no! The shade!
I don't know how that happened at all.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't.
Wow. This is how we treat the
Why would I
fans.
tell on myself if I knew how? I had no idea. Jets, I was like, oh my God, it is no wonder that I haven't seen anything from you. I don't even know in how long. I don't know how it happened.
Wow. Although, to be fair,
I have unmuted you.
Is this that Star Wars show? Mute him again.
Mute him?
Mod him out of the chat right now.
I mean, I guess I could. So yeah. Anyway,
wow,
so that was a fun thing that happened from my pizza tweet. You're scared you saw the pizza tweet. Yeah, listen, it's not scary once you just start eating it. And honestly, the longer skinny slices that were more rectangular in shape were really nice to just hold on to and like dip into my dipping sauce.
Pick one. Pick a lane.
What do you mean? There was a variety
all of the
options.
Pizza roll. Yeah,
I did. Different sizes.
Is variety. You don't need to
shapes.
Overlay your version of variety on top of it. Yep.
Listen, baby slab. Listen.
Banana.
There are some days when you just pick up a massive knife and you hack at a pizza and it makes you feel better. And that's all the reason that you need, you know?
Unbelievable.
Listen, I didn't think that it was going to be this alarming and triggering for people, but it's exciting at the same time.
It's an active thing to mute someone. You have to go through a couple of options to get there. It's not just like, oh, I accidentally clicked mute.
I am a little bit chaotic, though, Link. You're not like, your wife is not wrong. There was no one around. It was a personal sized pizza. It was just for myself. I looked at it after I was done. I was very entertained by it. And so I decided to share it.
Where does Dinosaur Iron Man come from? It's definitely Iron Man, correct. This mug was purchased in 2008. This mug is my oldest surviving mug that I use every single day. It has seen other mugs die. It has been through a lot, and it's still going.
When it disintegrates from the snap, are you going to be okay?
I am stunned that you made that reference. Nicely done.
Why?
Because that was a Marvel thing. I mean, Iron Man didn't disappear in the snap, but that's fine. So technically that's wrong, but...
Listen, I gotta stop messing around. Let's do the show. Let's do the show.
Let's do it. Blah, 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 blah.
For those of you who are brand new to the live show, we are going to be talking about Picard season 3, episode 1.
There's also going to be a shit ton of spoilers. If that wasn't obvious already.
From Picard?
Yes.
Oh, I wondered if he was going like Marvel, like spoilers, Danae.
Yes. Gonna spoil a movie that came out 4 years ago.
Spoiler. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, spoilers.
But so we are going to talk about Picard season 3, episode 1. So if you haven't had a chance to see it yet and you want to,
get the fuck out of here.
Might want to either mute us and still watch. That's totally fine.
Apparently we're beautiful.
Or you can go find, somebody else on Twitch to enjoy. I think Moco Made is streaming, and they're always entertaining to watch. And there's other wonderful people that we really enjoy and care about a lot here on Twitch. For those of you watching on YouTube, I don't know what you want to watch, but I'm pretty sure it's all cool content coming out on CinemaSins content channel.
There it is.
So I'm kidding. So, for those of you who have not watched the live episodes before, we pop in like we are right now and chat a little bit with you. And then we start the official recording. And when we do that, we stop interacting with the chat so that we can have a clean edit for the podcast. It makes all of the production a lot easier. And after we do our red alert section for our sins, we end our official recording of the podcast and come back and hang out live with you. We answer questions that you have, and they can be questions about Star Trek. They can be questions about CinemaSins. They can be questions about anything. We hang out for a little bit, and then we wrap up the show. So without further ado, we're going to get started. When everybody, hi, Psycho. It's good to see you. I'm sorry, Jets. I'm sorry. You would have never known had I not told you, but I'm sorry. We did lose Ian, yeah, but he's going to get it back. His microphone is notoriously stingy. It's very sensitive. If he barely touches it, the cord disrupts and he loses his input. But watching him panic is fun. Maybe I'll make him big screen. Let's make it awkward.
No, don't make. I'm back, so fuck you.
Oh, okay.
Well, 1 second. Need to carry on recording.
And tap your mic to make sure it's the right source.
Hello.
Oh my God!
Oh, was
it's
that
working?
Why is that? That was loud. Okay. Hello.
It's fine.
Yeah, I was fucking about with the Enterprise D and pulled the cable out of my mic. So yeah, well done, Ian. Well done.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh wait, it's not. It's not episode 3. It's episode 1.
Season 3, episode 1.
I missed.
You done fucked up.
I done fucked it up, Captain. Hi,
Welcome.
Captain. Hi, Captain. Am I gonna be your twangy ambassador for this season of Captain's Pod? Yeah. Sorry, I apologize.
Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode. We just watched together. Most important question first. What is your beverage of choice?
The condensation dripping off of Beverly's chamber.
Oh, you're such a kinky bitch. Space condensation. I want a glass of Malbec that I can directly pour onto Captain Shaw's lap, because no one likes Malbec. Malbec is a dusty turd of a wine. It's terrible. I knew he liked Malbec from the second he arrived. Yes, I am excited.
I didn't know what Malbec was at all.
It's just a type of wine, like Chianti or Rioja.
I mean,
can't name any other red wines.
You've named more red wines than I've ever heard of. I can name. I can name Shiraz.
Shiraz, yep.
Oh, Shiraz. Is it Shiraz or is that your accent?
Yes.
Because I've always said. I've always heard it was Shiraz. Like
I think it's Shiraz. There's no. I don't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Shiraz. Merlot. That's another one.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all I got.
You got the white wine as well.
I know that there's is Riesling a type?
It's a white wine, Riesling.
Okay, so there we go. I got that one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio. This is exactly. You came here for wine chat, obviously. Danae, I am so fucking excited to get into this. Synopsisize us, please.
Oh fuck! Are we doing that this season?
Yeah.
Really?
Until you start expecting it.
Oh my god. Okay. Woo. When am I going to catch on? This is the thing now. In this first episode of season 3 of PICARD,
so far so good.
Join people that we know.
And some that we don't.
How would I summarize all of this? I mean, the easy thing is what I'm trying to do something different than what you would read on any of the recap, sources.
Why I throw it over to you.
So I would say, like, in this episode, we learn just how old the bodies feel for Picard, the golem, and Riker, the human. And we're injecting geriatric jokes on geriatric jokes. We're attempting to do illegal things while pretending that we're doing illegal things, but not doing illegal things. We are playing the game Portal, but deadly. And also, I'm pretty sure in this episode, it is revealed that when Beverly was fucked by the ghost candle, she had a love child.
No, that's not what I'm nixing that right now. It is not the child of the ghost fucking episode.
I mean, where did it come from? Where did this person come from? If not from this
million different ways that kid could have arrived. So many.
Listen, it's the only thing that makes sense. You asked me to do the synopsis. I am giving the synopsis of this episode.
Apologies.
Also, thank God those communicators have batteries, because if not, Beverly would be super fucking dead. And Picard would, instead of going off to finally get to spend time with someone that he loves, he's now off on another adventure that will take him to the edge of the unknown. And fuck Shaw. Okay, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that too. Nice. Yeah, I mean that covers it. Wow. What a opening episode, man. This episode was made by some fucking nerds. Massive nerds all over this episode. I have got so many thoughts, but Danae first. Overall thoughts and feelings, not necessarily specifics. Did you like episode 1 of season 3?
Oh, of course I liked it. This was a wonderful episode. Yeah. This is packed with nostalgia and peppering back in some intrigue. It introduces characters, plots, and visuals that will make sense to any Star Trek fan and maybe even new Star Trek fans as well, because even though this is like hitting all of the nostalgia service for any TNG fan or anyone who watched, like, you don't have to watch Picard season 1 or 2 to start right here in this story that they're presenting to us. There's nothing that happened in this episode that would have been confusing for me. I mean, Rafi maybe would be a character that I wouldn't know very well had I not watched season 1 or 2. But even then, you can easily figure out what kind of a character she is based on how they introduced her in this one. Yeah. So they've kind of shown us who's involved at this point in season 3, and they're kind of bringing in the intrigue of, clearly the undertone is that Starfleet isn't the Starfleet that we know and love, and there's some shit going down, which is not new because they kind of did that in season 1 and 2. So that's still like a thread that's kind of going throughout. This idea of, who am I? I individually have instinct, but I have to take orders from somebody above me, and the rigidity of Starfleet maybe not being the good guy versus the good guys that are in Starfleet or were in Starfleet. So I think we're going to see a lot of that tension in this season. But I loved it. I loved it visually. I loved it. A lot of the back and forth between Riker and Picard was so fun.
Beautiful.
I love that they opened up with Beverly, totally unexpectedly.
Great cold open.
Kind of, just kicking some ass. And I also like that they kind of put Annika, right? Is that her name? 7 of 9.
Hansen.
Put her back kind of in a specific sort of contained role, and then separated out Rafi, because that relationship wasn't working for me anyway. And so I'm kind of nice. It's good to see some distance, honestly. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. What did you think? Because I looked over at you several times while we were watching, and I was like, oh, I think he's super happy.
And I know that there were like, the moments where I was really happy, I could feel you looking at me as well. I was like, don't smile too much. We're going to show your nerd is showing. My goodness, I really loved this, but in a way that makes me less nervous than I have been before. So, episode 1 of season 1 of Picard, every single episode that I liked made me nervous, because I was like, oh, I like what this is doing, but do I really like it? Like, I knew I liked the fan service. I knew I liked the stuff that we're seeing on screen. I wasn't too sure about the story. Same with season 2. Like, I loved the opening 2 episodes to season 2 with the Stargazer, the alternate timeline, the Borg diamond Volva showing up. Loved all of that, but I was still like, if we're going back in time, I'm not too sure. This feels comfortable. And I know sometimes you want to be pushed outside of your comfort zone, but for a swan song and a final victory lap, you don't do ridiculous stunts and you don't take risks on your victory lap. You do it and you wave to the audience, and everybody gets to see the famous driver and see the beautiful car, and there's no risk. Everyone's gonna just get through it. And I'm not saying that everyone's gonna get through this and they're not gonna kill somebody off, but this felt like a continuation, and so many people have said this on the internet already. This felt like a continuation of TNG, but a little bit darker.
Well,
with the history of interspersing 20 years that have come since the movies.
the paneling like that's on the screens
Oh my
is
goodness, the
TNG
updated
paneling.
LCARs. Yes.
It's the same kind of graphic design, sort of soft lines that everything in this is TNG nostalgia.
Well, they brought back
But
Michael Okuda, who designed the original TNG Okudagram, which is the soft rectangles and everything. Brought him back to update it with Dave Blass.
That's fun.
To make it red, blue, and darker.
I like looking at interior design just in general. I find trends to be interesting. Not that I follow them myself, but like I don't apply them to my house. I mean, if I was to take you on a tour of my house, my aesthetic is toys and clothes and shit everywhere.
It's the aesthetic of a 6-year-old.
Yeah. But watching the trends shift to like a grayscale for the home, it kind of reminds me like of what's happening on screen with Picard season 3. It's like they took TNG and then they modernized it by making it grayscale. So
yeah.
And it does liken to that theme that maybe Starfleet is darker, because this is a dark ship. Like the Titan that we're on, the main ship that we're on during this episode, it feels like a very not nice ship. Guys, there's no carpeting anywhere. This is
there's no beige. There is no beige on this ship.
Nope. Shiny black floors.
Beige is
shiny stuff.
360s.
It looks fucking badass, to be honest with you.
It's gorgeous. I do have a sin about the interior, but we'll save it.
It looks like something from the movies. It looks like
it does.
It's so pretty to look at. I mean, it feels dark and imminent and militant in a way that it used to maybe feel more like a family room. Now we've shifted into like somebody's obsession with war. So,
and it might well be that after the insanity of the Dominion War, another Borg invasion, fucking stuff going on with the Romulans, maybe there has been in the last 50 years this shift from exploration into our ships need to be ready for battle. And that's how my headcanon kind of internalizes it, is that as much as Starfleet wants to be about exploration, 50 years of fuckery has taught them that we need to be ready for shit, and we need to not be acting after the fact. Our ships need to be drilled and ready to go, which is something I would love a full 7 seasons to explore in the 2410s, where we actually explore why that is happening. But that's kind of how I justify it in my head, because the Enterprise D and everything was always so brightly lit and optimistic, and everything since has been battle stations.
Yeah. This one definitely amps it up, and it's definitely on purpose. There's a lot of things that this show is doing visually on purpose to place us in situations of discomfort or comfort, and those things work. They work to make the audience at ease. And here we're in a ship that is obviously unwelcoming with very welcoming visuals. And there's a conflict with 7 of 9 being a welcoming figure, but also really restricted and militant. So
have I felt that with store managers in my retail career, and I've had bosses that are above them that come in and say, "Ian, you're doing great." I can see that you're struggling because your boss is a dick, but we can't remove him right now. Like I felt 7's pain so much.
I think they just did a good job in this episode of setting up a lot of the vibe. Now, I don't know how that's going to carry out from episode to episode, because they're doing something, they're not doing the episodic, like one story per episode thing that we see on TV. We're doing a season-long arc. Not only a season-long arc, it is the bookend to the Picard series. So they're clearly going to be telling us a story that they might not reveal until we see the finale, what they were actually going for. And of course, we're going to be making predictions and just reacting as we do along the way. And I'm really excited for it. But I thought they did a great job. I mean, overall, I was really thrilled with it. I made tons of notes. Like, I just
so
mindlessly wrote down everything so that I wouldn't forget anything. So we could literally talk about this episode for an hour and I'd be happy. I'd be pretty happy with it. Can we talk about the beginning scene? Can we talk about it now? Like, what are we going to do? Captain, what are we doing? Captain, I'm so excited.
One final point on like not just like the what I thought overall as a Star Trek fan. But as an episode of television, this is really efficient. It is well plotted. It has a mystery set up really, really well. A great cold open, great antagonist, a great ending. It just sets up a load of mysteries. I didn't feel lost. I feel like I could have dove into this without too much context as well. I, uh, it's my biggest compliment and my biggest sin of the show overall, but we'll get to the sins later in the show. Let's get to the opening. Where did you want to start, Ambassador? What was it about the opening that you loved?
It had such a fun 80s vibe going on with even the graphic that just said in the 25th century.
Okay, let's start right there. That's how the Wrath of Khan movie opens. It just says in the 23rd century, ... And it's so weird. Like, we've seen it in the this was done way before I joined, but Jeremy and Chris sinned it in the video, just like, well, fuck you telling us that for? Of course we know. Like, what do you mean? What happened in the 23rd century? But it's just it's a lovely little callback to like the old school font and just how, like, I think TV budgets and TV quality is so good now that this feels like a movie. And I mean, you can read so much into it, but I think it's the idea that this could be a movie that has been turned into 10 episodes. Or it could just be a nice callback. Who knows? But I love the retroness of it and the score that came along with it as well.
Yeah, the music in this was so good. Especially, I mean, I want to jump around, but especially when the ship is revealed later. Chills!
Oh my goodness, that ship reveal
I'm such a geek.
But you're a nerd.
I'm such a nerd.
The score is pulled from the Wrath of Khan and the Search for Spock, First Contact, Insurrection. They pull out somehow my favorite themes and put them all into this episode. The scoring is great, and the person who scored it, the composer, I've forgotten their name, but they just won an award for the score to this season.
Well, you should go look it up.
It's beautiful. Gosh,
you go look it up.
Yeah. Fine. Tell me what you loved.
Well, I'm going to read the first 3 notes of my thing. Besides the 25th century, right, graphic that I liked. I wrote down pretty ship, red ship, inside ship. That's what
Stephen Barton, I think. I can't remember.
Stephen Barton? I'm not sure.
One of the composers.
Do you think you got it right? Do you think that's it?
Close enough.
We start this episode with like a view of Beverly's ship, which I don't know what it's called.
I don't know. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks like an updated Steamrunner class.
Of course, yes, of course, everyone knows that. And then this like wicked looking little red ship like appears and it docks and it infiltrates. But when we go and the shot starts inside the ship, it starts with just like a whole bunch of collected paraphernalia, I'm assuming from Beverly's career. And it was very interesting because I feel like if I had time to stop, if I was like a super fan of Star Trek, I think this is one of those episodes where you would stop it and you would pause and you would absorb everything that you're looking at and you would know exactly what episode it came out of. It feels like it would be a set designer's kind of homage to the series because they had all kinds of little devices and knickknacks. They had plants and pearls and masks, and then they had an open log that was just auto playing Picard.
So that's from the Best of Both Worlds. So the Enterprise is hiding in a dust cloud, distracting the Borg ship. And Picard's logic is as long as the ship is chasing us, it's not going to be hurting anyone else. And it gives them a bit of time to do some repairs and figure out what's going on. That the Enterprise remains concealed in the dust cloud was the startup tone for the very first computer I ever had. So it was a time computer and you turn it on. And as Windows loaded, it would be the Mutara Nebula and then Picard saying the Enterprise remains concealed in the dust cloud. So like, it was like they pulled that out of my brain and I just got tingles. But why is Beverly listening to this random log?
Well, and she's not even, well, I mean, it looks like she's trying to outpace someone that's hunting her. So maybe she's using that as like her mantra to keep going. Yeah,
or maybe like, how did we hide from things in the past? I mean,
she's just listening to it.
It does inspire the code that she uses because when Riker explains that it's from when the Borg hacked into their systems and added all of the threes, that's the same episode. So I understand that she's listening to that log that inspires the code, so she sends the communication. And yeah, maybe that's why she's like, I gotta hide. How did
Mhm.
Picard hide us best? That's a great bit of
Yeah.
logic. I bet
I
that's what it
feel
is.
I feel like these little bits and details is what will give a totally different flavor to someone who is as absorbed
Mm,
with Star Trek facts like you are. Like for me, I make that deduction without having understanding of like the reference of what show it's from and what happened in that show.
mm.
But
Well, I think that's
knowing
evidence that
those
they did it really
details,
well.
yeah, it's just it's really to me we could sin it, right? And be like, why is this
Hmm.
playing when she's not in the room? But clearly they're setting the stage for just
Yeah.
this like panning. There was something about who's Jack Crusher, by the way.
That would be her husband. So that's
Did you
Wesley. Sorry,
see
her deceased husband and Wesley's father.
did you see the container that was below? They pan on a table and then it pans down and like the whole ship is kind of shaking a little bit and this container is shaking. It says Jack Crusher on the front.
Oh, I missed that. I was too busy
So
taking notes. Interesting.
yeah, so I don't
Interesting.
know what all is going to be revealed about why Beverly is where she is, what she's been doing for 20 years, why she bounced out. It seems like maybe she bounced out because she was pregnant.
I mean, but why is she so angry about that? And I don't know, that guy seems older than 20, but I'm bad at aging people. I mean, the actor could be older than 20 and he's playing a 19 or 20-year-old, fine. But why would that make her mad? Why would because she cut
I mean,
off communications with.
If it's Picard's son, let's
I
just
think he would
call
have mentioned that. I think that's a dick move if he hasn't mentioned that to anyone.
let's just pretend for a second that Picard said something to Crusher about like not wanting to be a family man and she's just like, you know what, cool, and she just bounces to go have a baby. I'm just saying it would be a really easy thing to
Mm.
reach for. Anyway, for whatever she's doing, whatever her motivation is, I I would be interested to at the end of this season go back and revisit all of the paraphernalia in the opening
Mm.
sequence because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it's very intentional
Oh,
and
so
like
many
little
nods.
Easter
I
eggs.
bet. Yeah,
So
I absolutely bet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole ship looks like old school screens. And on Beverly's ship, the interfaces that pop up, it just is all TNG, and that was really really fun. But
Mm.
yeah, so they're obviously like kind of like being hunted down. What did you like about this scene of like the infiltration? I mean, I didn't, what did you like about how the action sequence to start it off?
I really enjoyed it. I think it was a massive nod to, wow, we're finally going to give Beverly something to do. I think there is nothing you can do to redeem her absence from the movies, essential absence. How underused I feel the female characters were presented in TNG in general. You're never going to make that up with one season, but it's a pretty good nod and it's a pretty good like just opening to say, here she is. She's been through some shit. This is going to be a lot of her story as well. I love the retro phaser rifle that she pulls out. I have sins about it, but that's fine.
We'll
But
get to that.
this phaser rifle is just like the phaser rifles from the movies, and I love that so much. I'm such a nerd. In terms of like there's so it's a really well paced opening because I want to know who the guy is that's banging on the door. That she's obviously protecting and doesn't want help from.
That's her son.
Well, we know that now. We didn't know that
Oh.
when the episode
Oh, I
opened.
see what you're saying. Okay, I was
Uh-huh.
like, we
In the
just did the
moment,
scene. Oh my
in the
god.
moment, I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Who are these mystery aliens? Like, when did Beverly get so good with a
So
phaser
you've never
rifle?
seen these aliens before.
I mean, that's hard to say with 800 episodes of Star Trek. They didn't immediately jump out as an alien that I recognized. No. So yeah, I don't know who they are, but it was nice to see. What I love about it is that she was being clever as well. Like she's using her environment. She's looking for intelligent ways to get out of the situation as well. Um, of course, you've got your cliche countdown to warp drive being ready because we can't just warp out of here. But for an opener and a mystery, I loved it, and it's so well shot. Just like that reveal of Beverly spinning round, it's dramatic as fuck. I really really liked it. Really good opening,
Yeah.
really strong because it
It's
allows you to then do the pondery thing with Picard in the next scene, and because there's an argument to be made that you could open with Picard being nostalgic and then the communicator suddenly beeps and you get the message from Beverly. I think it's really ballsy to open. Bam! Here's Crusher. She's in the ship. Let's go. Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved it.
I loved it too. I think it's a really nice service for the fans because we've been missing this character. And so we get to see her right away. There's no like, ta-da! Here's the reveal. It's like, just let's open with a strong woman with this awesome streak of white hair that reminds me of that character from X-Men. What's her name?
Rogue or Storm?
Yeah, which is one of my favorites, Rogue, because she could touch people and just...
Rogue's fascinating.
Like, she is super fascinating. Anyway, and I also love to see women in different age categories do their fucking thing. Like Laris, isn't that her name? Laris?
Yeah, Laris.
Laris. She's really beautiful to me. It's like, look at that. Look at aging. I mean, everybody's aging. But it's nice to see it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. It's like I'm tired of looking fucking beautiful, tiny little people that have plump skin. Like, show me some wrinkles.
In Hollywood and TV, as soon as you hit 30, you're resigned to being the mother or the grandmother. It is utter bullshit. Like those roles, it's very recently that we're seeing more of those roles just like become ageless.
Yeah. But it's neat that we have this sort of time to call back these actors and do something really unique. And I like how they gave her this space. The aliens were interesting. Like they did that, like the clicking.
Yeah.
Like kind of like thing. And I was like, what's going on? And she fucking disintegrates them. She straight up murders. And she should, because she's being hunted and life is in danger. But I had lots of questions about that, maybe more sinful questions about that. But I did have a question for you that I can ask now, which is, I think she was wearing like an old school coat. Did you recognize the coat she was wearing as some sort of...
No, it does look like it has a similar sort of design to the Wrath of Khan jackets. There's a lot of inspiration from the Wrath of Khan in this episode, especially like the new Starfleet uniforms have the fold down across patch thing. It did definitely feel like that, but it's not something I specifically remember. As far as I know, it's an original design. It's probably just, I mean, everything in this episode is inspired by older Trek.
I did like this moment. It seemed like she, so she shoots this vent and like steam is coming down, and I want to watch this exact scene again because she busts out of this steam, and I think she just like tosses her hair off to the right and then evaporates somebody, and I just kind of want to watch it again. Be like,
flick.
She has a split second to just blow her curl to the side to make sure she can see before she kills someone. I kind of love that. But yeah, so then she kind of sends this message, right? She sends this message out to Picard on this specific transmission, and then it goes to part 1, the next generation. How do you feel about seeing part 1 pop up on screen? What does that mean?
Oh, you mean the title of the episode?
Yeah. I mean, are they going to do the season in 2 parts?
No, I think
or is it just called part 1?
Yeah, I think this is part 1. Next week will be part 2 because I've seen a few of the episode titles.
Okay.
And they do follow that kind of format. So I think there's like kind
each
of mini...
episode is going to be called part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
I don't know. Okay. I think that it's going to be like the only reason I can imagine you doing that is if you're like chaptering the entire adventure. It's like this is a little story, and then it leads into this story, and then it leads into this story.
Okay,
and it has an
I'm really curious.
Thing. Very curious how that plays out. Yeah.
As a writer, we have to think about how our final product is going to be absorbed by an audience later, and so I'm always fascinated for the purposeful reasons of titling things.
Yeah.
And this one's like to do a part 1. I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what are we in for? We only have so many episodes, so I was curious.
Titling TV shows fascinates me incredibly. If I ever wrote a TV show, maybe I shouldn't say this because someone's going to steal it, but if I ever wrote a TV show, my episode titles would be something really innocuous in the episode that impacts something. So it would be like the oak tree, and it may just be an oak tree that somebody walks past and a dramatic moment happens at the oak tree. And then the next episode would be like a length of string, and somebody trips over a length of string. So the object would have nothing to do with the overall plot, but it would inspire something that happens in the episode. But I've
So
always thought
it would
about
be
episode
like
titles like
the
that.
discarded drug.
Yeah,
um,
exactly. Yeah.
we do get to see. I think was it Data's painting of the Enterprise really
No,
quickly too, or is
it's
that
not Data's painting. It's a
okay?
commissioned painting. I think it's
Oh,
from.
okay.
It's one that was hanging in Picard's office, or his ready room.
This kind of what made me sad. How did this scene set up for you? Because for me, this scene is a combination of introducing Beverly's transmission to Picard because she needs help. But the scene actually starts with us sort of like inventorying Picard's collection because he's sending it off to a museum
Yeah.
to be for artifacts because he's kind of at the end of his life. He knows it and he's going to be doing something different now. And so to me, the scene was like an homage to him sending off things that are memories for him, but then the show giving him the line at the end that says, I'm not a man who needs a legacy. I want a new adventure. And I don't know, I felt like it was kind of the show giving the fans permission to go like move on.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
kind of
I think
sad.
I don't think that's accidental at all. It's very, very deliberate that it's Picard is packing up everything. This is the victory lap. It's time for us to maybe pack up some of this stuff as well and just enjoy this last season. We know it's going to be the last season. Okay, the characters may pop up in other media, but this is the swan song. This is the end for them. So pack it up. There's no going back and enjoy it. And that is embodied in what Picard is doing. Is I'm going to pack up this fan service stuff. I'm going to
Yeah.
have an adventure. It's not the adventure he thinks that he's about to go on, but he's happy. And I think I have a feeling that we're going to get a happy ending for everyone. That would be
Well,
my overall.
yeah. God,
I
can
would
you
hope so.
imagine?
Ugh,
Jesus. If
the
they fucking
unforgivables.
decided to do something insane,
You touch Geordie and I will leave. I will stop this podcast right now.
they reveal that he's been in pain the whole time. They just lied about it, and he's just been dealing with like this
his
horrible
eyes
pain.
are still in agony. Oh my goodness. I think the next thing I'd want to jump to is Picard. Picard obviously gets the com badge, which I think we'll talk about more when we sin it because it's really fucking sinful. But he reaches out to Riker and clues him in on what's happening and that they need to find a way to find Beverly, which Riker obviously has the answer to. Now, how did you feel about the Riker that we saw here? Because this is different from season 1 Riker that we saw. Something's happened with Deanna and his daughter. What do you guess is happening? This seems like a more unstable Riker compared to the pizza in the yard baking wild Riker that we saw.
The writers are giving us permission to justify in our minds why he's willing to not be on this planet with his wife and his child.
Yeah.
And they do that by saying that how did they say it? I can't remember.
Oh, they would appreciate the break from me.
Yeah, something like yeah. So to me that's like a really interesting and quick way to say shit's gone down. We all need a break from each other. And I honestly appreciate that. I mean, I think that we oftentimes want these characters to live in a bubble of beauty and love and happiness forever. And we forget that there are seasons to life and sometimes you need a break from each other. And so whether it was, I mean, it seems like it's healthy because it wasn't like he was saying, they could have said, Deanna and I have broken up and that's why I have permission to be here. But instead it's like, I think that they'll enjoy this break from me for a minute, you know?
I have a feeling that what I would have to guess is that when he turns up at the end of season 1 in is it the Zhenghe? The Zhenghe? He turns up in that ship and saves the day, and they have loads and loads of the same ship that turns up. He retired and then goes back into the service. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that taste of being in the captain's chair again made him really antsy. And maybe he's been a bit irritable, a bit moody, and not ready to retire as much as Deanna is. And if you're not honest and you don't talk about that stuff, it creates tension. So I think we'll find out that he's doing the thing that Deanna has been telling him to do, but he's been denying that he wanted to do it.
Well, and also when we went to the planet and we met with Riker and Deanna and we found out that they had a child that had
Mm.
died, um, they talked about how Riker ran his household like a ship, and
Yeah.
it was very
Yeah.
regimented. And
hmm
so they
Shields up.
did give us some details about how he is as a person, that maybe he would be better off in a captain's chair actively out there.
Mm.
But it's so fun for me because maybe in the past writers would have said, well, there's no reason that a husband should leave a wife and a child unless it's a very serious situation. And they're just like, yeah, maybe we don't need that though. And so I liked it. I thought that it was
Yeah.
fine. And I really enjoyed seeing the excitement and the light between Riker and Picard as they like
Oh,
contemplated, the shenanigans that they were about to, but you can see it's like, Riker's like the little brother that's like, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
yeah.
Go, let's go, let's go. And he's
Leading
kind
him
of like,
astray a bit. But
yeah.
they
And
both make each other seem 10 years younger. Like,
they
they're
do.
so fun together. I love Riker's little summary of, great, so your wrist doesn't work and my knees are shot. Let's just hope we don't have to shoot anyone or run
Or
anywhere.
move. Yeah, or anywhere. Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
so fun. Yeah, they had really great quips
Great banter between
for
them.
this.
It's
Yeah.
so
So
good.
I didn't mind that. And I didn't mind that Picard would share information with him about Beverly, even though Beverly specifically said don't involve Starfleet. And then he immediately goes to somebody who's involved in Starfleet. I feel
Mm,
like there's an understanding between the two of them, a trust between the two of them.
yeah.
And we've seen that in some of the episodes you've had us watch last season of Captain's Pod, where we got to see Riker and Picard's first interaction. And Picard was specifically interested in Riker because he wanted to know if Riker would disobey orders. So
Mm,
they have a history together, and that
yeah.
comes up with how Shaw talks to them as well.
Well, that's a great
So
segue into the shore of it all. What did you think of Captain Shaw of the Titan A?
I honestly like the character
Me
because
too. What does
be,
that mean?
I there's something about the way that this person, I don't know who's acting. Do you know the person's name?
Todd Stashwick.
I really like how he is emoting this character.
He is intense.
It's
He is so good.
perfect. Like the emotions that I'm feeling are
Mm,
mixed. And until he gets to the point where he's like Borg racist, I was super like, I like Shaw. And then
yeah.
whenever he
He's got a
throws
history with
out
the Borg.
when he throws out that comment about Borg, and he has a Borg first officer, an ex Borg first officer, I'm just
Mm.
like, oh, okay. We're supposed to just like hate this guy.
I
But
don't know. I don't know if we're supposed to hate him. I think we are clearly supposed to be annoyed by him, and he's supposed to put every scene on edge. But the way there's some subtle things about the way that it's written where he's not wrong about anything.
nope.
Yes, the Borg stuff is borderline racist, but I'm ready to believe that when we find out that the Borg killed his entire family. 5 generations of Captain of Shores have been killed. I am sure there's something there we're going to learn, but
Wait,
he's not
when did we
wrong.
learn about that?
No, we haven't learned about that
Oh.
yet. But I'm ready. I'm certain that there's going to be some history with the Borg with him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But how dare Riker and Picard like playboy themselves onto the ship and expect to like Captain Kirk their way into some bullshit mission, and he just like outs them immediately,
Yeah.
and he's like,
I
"Yeah, you're
loved it.
legends. I don't give a shit. You're
Yeah.
dinosaurs." And that's
I
just a different
loved it.
point of view. Like it's abrasive, but I'm just like, put them down. Like they are being dicks.
He for me is a very fascinating by the book. Maybe it's because my family is one where if we get a board game, you read the rules and you play by the rules.
Mhm.
So that way you can win by the rules. Like the competitive nature paired with it being rule oriented meant growing up that rules were really important to me. I want to know my parameters. I don't want to get in trouble. So
Yeah.
having a captain like that is so by the books puts me at
Mhm.
ease because that's just like,
Yeah.
man, this is going to be a well-oiled machine. I know exactly what's expected of me, and I want to go in and I want to do it, and then I want to, clock out for the day. And there's something really intriguing about that I respect, because it is a little element of Starfleet that's important to remember, is that this is a series of people who have a hierarchy and there's rules and regulations. And it harkens back to Picard trying to do a lot of things with Starfleet in season 1 and being like rejected because they're like, dude, you don't have that kind of authority. No, I'm not going to go find out who Taj is with you or whatever, the setup. He was put in his place.
You don't have a ship with the same rank. Like,
Picard
you've been doing
season
it longer,
1 was uncomfortable because it was telling Picard kind of like maybe what they didn't want to do in all the time in TNG with like, no, you don't get your way. And it was a little over the top. Well, here it's not only from Picard going in trying to do something that we know he's doing well, but he is doing something he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And of course, we're like in for it. Of course, I want to see him succeed. And when he launched that shuttle, I giggled like a little girl. I mean, of course, I want to see that.
Bitch.
But he is very direct, unapologetic, and of course, I like that too.
This is my ship.
Yeah, so I liked Shaw, but I think it was maybe I wouldn't like it if it was delivered differently, but I just feel like the actor is just singing. He is eating it up. Like,
I wonder how much Todd Stashwick would change that if it was a different actor. Like, if it was somebody that was like, oh, you slimy bastard, I would be so annoyed, but I love him so much. And him and Terry Matalas, the writer of this episode, I think he did the directing, or at least some of the directing, they've worked together previously on 12 Monkeys. So they have a history of working together as well. So it's always nice when you can see that he knew that he was writing Captain Shaw as Todd Stashwick. Like, and I think when you know that ahead of time,
maybe so, yeah.
Like,
you can kind of give it,
so you can picture exactly how every line's going to be delivered.
I don't want to give the impression that I like Shaw. I like how Shaw is. I do not like Shaw the character in these ways. Like, he's super rude. When he was eating before anybody showed up, I was like, oh my God. Now,
just so that he could deliver that zinger. It's so
good. What was it? It was like, your reputation precedes you so greatly that I was able, you already entered the room and I began eating or something. It was so clever.
Your reputation preceded you so much that you were like already in the room. So I started eating. I was like, my God, you've been sitting on that for decades.
It's a great line. It's a great line. It shows that he's witty and humorous and unapologetic, but he's also really rude and disrespectful. And I think his words say things like, I appreciate you, I care about you, I love what you've done, but I don't have time for it. Yeah. And I
purged all of your jazz from the system. I didn't just not listen to it, I deleted all of the jazz on the Titan.
Yeah. But it does seem, I don't know, he didn't meet them when they got on the ship. He's not really around very much either. I don't know. He's really hands-off captain, which maybe it's because they want us to see, Seven in that seat of power. And so they're deliberately keeping Shaw off the bridge, but he's a weird character. I don't mind him.
We'll see.
I don't mind
where
him
he goes.
From a acting writing perspective. I do mind him as a character because he's a dick.
He's a great plot device. Well done. Perfect amount of time with him. Charismatic as fuck. I'm interested to see what happens to Captain Todd. Cool. Where do you want to jump to now? I guess I do want to quickly mention how awesome the ship porn was. My goodness, am I happy that we have a well-lit, I will say it again, a well-lit starship reveal, like in the huge starbase, glory shot of the Titan A little bit of it's a Neo-Constitution refit. It's just well done. Whoever put the pen to paper and made that something I could see.
It was really beautiful, and the music was beautiful.
The ship is gorgeous. The music was so good.
Space station was beautiful.
Leaving the space station.
The planet in the background, that's beautiful.
Got a warp 9. Oh, just the right amount of starship point. Yep.
This warp sound is that like it's a.
Well, they jumped straight to warp 9.99. They were like gone in the distance.
5 feet from the space station.
Yeah. Gone.
I did really enjoy that moment when Picard was like, don't you think you should alert engineering about this? And she's like, oh, it's all automated now. I did like that.
Things have happened in the last 30 years. Don't worry.
It was really, really
I love
clever.
that. Love that.
You know, before we go on to Metalis Prime District 6 to meet up with Rafi,
yes,
I do want to say that we didn't skip over it entirely, but before we get on in the show and then we get to our sins, I don't want to come back to this later because I do want to say it was really nice to see Laris again. I really
correct.
enjoy
Yes.
Picard and her relationship.
All of Brady. She's great.
She's going to be going to a planet. I don't remember the name of the planet. I don't know that it matters, but
it's some planet
Chaltalk
somewhere.
4.
Nice, good. Well
and he's supposed to come along, and then of course he's going off on the Beverly adventures now. But he does there's a fun moment, in my opinion, between them where he's gonna donate this Enterprise painting, and she's like, I think I want that. Like,
no, I like that.
There's this yeah, because she's kind of been the assistant feel, and now it's kind of shifting into ownership of his life in a way, like lovers in a way where she's invested differently, is what I interpreted that to be. Yeah. And then he goes to her for advice about Beverly and just their conversation in front of that fireplace, and she's got her bare feet and they're just talking. And I don't know. It's nice to see Picard in a loving kind of pairing with her. And I really like her as a character a lot.
I do as well.
And I find myself bummed that she's not coming along. Like, the way that they used her in season 2 as the face of another being was interesting, because like this beautiful actor. But I want to see her this character. I want to see Laris with Picard. I don't know that it would work to have a loving person in every scene. So I understand the instinct to remove her, especially since there's other people kind of coming in that are going to take
too crowded, isn't it? They wrapped up a lot of people in season 2. I'm amazed that Raffi is still here, to be completely honest. As much as I love,
she's going to die, right?
I don't know. Maybe. I love to see La Serena though. That ship, I love that ship so much. I'm glad they kept it in. But yeah, on the Laris front, she's incredible actor, incredible character. Wish we had more of that. Criminally underused in.
I know, but it was good to see her, and I just wanted to say I really enjoyed seeing her, and I think it was in that moment that I looked down to see how much time had passed, and I was surprised to see how much time had already passed because I was already having fun. Like the Beverly stuff had kicked off, and I wasn't feeling like it was slowing down. It was nice.
No. Well paced, incredibly well paced.
I thought so too. Yeah.
So we get to Metalis Prime, and a nice little Raffi is undercover. We don't know that she's undercover. We think she's actually fallen off the wagon, but she is there. Oh no, that got me hook, line, and sinker, and I was ready to sin it. I went straight to my sins, and I was like, Raffi feels so out of place in this story. What is going on? Why do I care that she's fallen off the wagon again? More Seven drama. Really annoyed. So I'm sucked into this story. Wherever you take me, I'm there with you. My blinkers are on entirely. I will believe what you put in front of me, people. So the reveal that apparently wasn't a reveal, that she's undercover, I was like, oh, thank God, it's more complex than that. Yes, she's struggling, but it's not that we're following her in a struggle that we already saw in season 1.
I thought that they did it well. In my notes, I wrote down, we're in a place of dancing lights. It's another bar, but this time we're in the streets. This is very Fifth Element, drugs and guns.
Yes, Fifth Element, Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah, it had that kind of vibe to it. And let's see. The all-knowing oracle of the underworld says something like, the
Orion.
She said, Rafi says, my girlfriend left me and I just kind of fell off. And I wrote in parentheses, did she though? Because I just couldn't believe that they were going to just remove all of that progress. But then at the same time, it is a true story of people who hit a hard time and they go back to the comforts that they know will bring them peace. And sometimes that peace is really deadly. I have many friends that struggle with drug abuse, and they get to a space where they're doing good and they're totally broke the habit again, and then something happens in their life and it's just that comfort, and they go right back into what they were doing before, And it's a hard pattern to break. And so if they were going to show that struggle, I was like, okay, I can believe that. I can believe that. But why are we showing Rafi here on this planet? And
Exactly.
how does it tie into this main story?
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I can believe it. I don't know how it services
right.
the wider story. I don't know why that's a story we're telling in this season.
But I thought that they did a good job of showing the struggle, because when she drops that cartridge that's in her hand that is the drug that she's has, been addicted to or tempted by, she has a moment where she decides to drop the drug. And so at the very least, I'm glad that they gave it the weight that it needs to have, because addiction is a very difficult thing to watch. Addiction struggle, I mean, is a very difficult thing to watch for a lot of people in media, because it's so serious and it feels like the resolution takes so much work in personal work and counsel work and repetitious work, and that's not always something that you want to see in your media.
Well, and it's hard to do justice in a short form thing as well, like 50 minutes of TV.
So
there was a beautiful touch where she has the vape pen that she was putting the spice or whatever into in season 1. She still has that while she's on the bridge, but she doesn't smoke from it. It's just in her hand and she's playing with it because that helps the addiction. Like, that's just little touches like that.
Little things like that.
A lot of faith.
Yeah. I didn't mind that. I liked that they did that. But Rafi is like this undercover person who is funded by a secret handler.
Worf. Sorry.
You think it's Worf?
100%.
How do you think it's Worf?
You are a warrior.
Okay, now I can hear it.
So deep in a female computer voice. He's really abrupt. The lines are really abrupt. Denied. He has a mission. You're a warrior. Just if you just it's 100% Worf. I have no doubt.
I didn't think about that at all.
No, I don't know what it was. It was when we got to the warrior bit at the end. I was like,
I mean, it makes sense, especially the warrior thing. You're not wrong.
Everything else fit into place after he said that.
Okay. So anyway, so she's working for what is technically a secret handler, and she's dialoguing to the computer about her struggles because weapons have been stolen, and the only thing that she knows is that there's something dangerous is about to happen with a red lady. And
my goodness, sorry.
We'll get to the sins of that later. And so she's kind of on a mission to hunt down, intel for that. And she figures it out. She figures out what the red lady means, zips on over to what's it called? I don't remember what the place is called.
Earth?
Is it Earth?
I think she goes back to Earth.
The Frontier District. What's the Frontier District?
Oh, it's not Earth. It'll be an embassy somewhere. It's on a planet somewhere. Yeah.
To the Rachel Garrett statue.
Yes.
Later
someone
on.
We know.
Is it? Who? I'm just writing stuff down that I see on screen. I have no understanding of what I'm writing down.
So we watched yesterday's Enterprise. So this is when the Enterprise B turns up, and there's the lady captain of the Enterprise, who gets impaled and killed, and this is where Tasha has to go onto the ship and goes back in time to fight the Romulans. So this is like an alternate timeline thing where the Enterprise C, appears. It shifts the timeline, but Guinan is the only one that knows something is wrong, and she knows that Tasha should be dead.
Yeah.
And Picard's just like, you have. Guinan says you have to send that ship back, and Picard's like, I'm not going to do it, and she's like, you have to do it. And Tasha goes back on the ship. The captain of the Enterprise C is Rachel Garrett, and she dies when they come under attack.
Oh, yeah. Okie dokie. Yeah. Totally didn't recognize her since she's bathed in blood in this episode.
No, totally fair. Totally fair. Yeah.
Anyway, so Rafi ends up, and I know we're kind of skipping around because other stuff happens in between when she's trying to figure out Red Lady, and then by the resolution by the end of it. But her story in this episode it's interesting. I don't know. She's obviously working for Starfleet, working in a secret ops area of Starfleet, hunting down more conspiracy theory stuff, which she loves.
Dangerous.
And
Like, I'm sorry, but this person who has like an addictive personality, is addicted to. I guess she's going to be so determined to get it right, but there is some like level of duty of care stuff that is being ignored here by putting Raffi in this situation.
but I do wonder if my prediction about her son taking more of a dominant role at some point will happen in this season, because I predicted it, which didn't happen. And it was one of my biggest disappointments in a prediction when she goes to see her son and he's pregnant and he's like, I want nothing to do with you because you're a terrible mom, essentially. And she's like, dude, I'm trying. And he's like, too bad. And now we see her also looking at this visual of this little kid kind of like, you know, like playing and stuff. And I'm wondering if that's her grandchild. And maybe
Think so?
I'm thinking it's her granddaughter. So I'm wondering if like the son will come back in play somehow, and then my prediction will come true later on.
Yes, very long game.
Very long game. But she goes and let's just talk about it. She goes and she witnesses this attack, this act of war, which that's definitely a Worf saying. You're right. It's an act of war, and you're a warrior. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's got to be.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure.
Well, how did you feel about watching this attack?
I love this weapon so much. So I didn't know what the building was. It's some like it's got a huge fuck off Starfleet Delta on top of it. It's clearly an important Federation building. And I'm just like, now you're thinking with portals, because I thought it was just like getting detonated or exploded. But then the portal appears above and drops it's a double whammy. You fuck that building, and then you fuck the building next to it as well, because you're just going to pick it up and drop it down. It's such a clever, good weapon. I love it so. And it makes sense because she said from the Daystrom Institute, stuff was stolen. Quantum tunneling technology was stolen. Like it's such a cool, unique weapon. It's not just a big laser beam from the sky. For a second, I thought it was a massive transporter that was beaming everything, but I'm like, no, it's a sinkhole. And then you just open it up over there. Oh,
it was so rad. And in the outtakes, please play everyone's reaction, because you and I are watching it simultaneously, and we both had the same reaction because we're like watching it, and then there's this moment where it sinks into the ground. You're like, oh, that's not good. But then it doubles down, and the portal appears in the sky, just sort of dumping all of its contents out in this like epic sort of like destruction. Because the design
injury,
the design of this CGI thing is so clever, because it really does look like what I would imagine the bottom part of this, I don't even know, institute, like this huge building, crumbling from its like just bottoming out. It looks really impressive. I was really impressed with it.
Expect it to happen.
I know, which I mean, I've never seen it before. But then I'm watching Rafi's like, "What am I watching?" And I'm like, "I am seeing the same thing you are, and I am just as shocked." And you and I are just like, "Oh!" So play it in the outtakes, because we were really reacting at that moment.
It's multiple levels of, oh shit, this is a big terrorist attack. And then you realize like the method of the weapon, and it's like, oh shit, this is nasty.
I mean, it's nasty. It is nasty.
This is a nasty weapon.
And this is where I feel like Picard is really understands amping up some tension, because there's this weapon that's a pretty big deal, but then they end the episode on the quintessential bad ship showing up, you know, like this gnarly looking spider looking kind of ship that sort of comes out of the nebula, which is super Star Trek. But here it's Star Trek in this really inventive weapon of war way that was totally unexpected. So it's kind of hitting on like new fan levels, and it's also hitting on another bad thing is happening. And so we're in like two different places, and bad things are happening everywhere.
I could see this being a movie. Like, this felt on so many levels like the opening hour of a movie. Like, you would trim a little bit to probably get it down to 20, 25 minutes. But all of it was just such a great setup for a movie. It's so good. Love that.
Yeah. When she does show up, she does talk about like she's trying to call down to them, and she's like calling down to this space, whatever it is. And it was like just the eeriness.
Communication's already blocked.
Yeah. I feel like, and you'll hear it in the outtakes. I had a very specific response to hoping that the building was empty, but you didn't see any like people walking around. So I'm just like, I'm coming on the screen like what's happening?
I wanted to see some little people fall out of the portal, just like what's going
on? Someone's on the shitter.
Oh my goodness, somebody was.
But
I really think somebody was.
But that's pretty much, Rafi's kind of like story arc here. We don't know how it ties into Picard or how it ties into anything else going on, but where the stage is set, and I enjoyed seeing Rafi. I don't mind Rafi as a character. I don't mind the actor at all. I think she's just really intriguing to me, and I'm curious how they're gonna button her up, or if they're gonna take her and put her into another like a series at some point. I think she's probably gonna die, honestly. I think my bet's on Rafi.
If you're going to kill somebody off, it makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, so that all ties in. There's just a couple of like little loose ends that I want to tie up, and that was Sydney LaForge, who is the ensign on the bridge that is the pilot of the ship, LeVar Burton's real-life daughter. I love it so much. So cool. So cool. It
is so cool. I love that. Yeah, it's nice to see the love of the community. They rehire the same actors for doing different things because there's just such a passion for being in this medium. But now they have all these other options. There's so many actors that are really talented that they could easily involve, and looking for new talent. But to know that there's a lot of talent out there, but to reach for someone who's actually related to one of the actors is just, it's just a fun. Yeah,
well, it's also beautiful because in the final episode of TNG, they go into the future, and Geordi has a family, and one of his daughters is named Sydney. Like they've
kept it true to the.
They've kept the same name as well.
That's so
I
fun.
love it so much. It's so good. My other thing was the amount of Eagle Moss. Like they were literally Eagle Moss models in that episode with exactly the same stand in the bar behind Riker, same stand, same ships. I just had like a little geek out of they're there, they're my ships, they're there, like they exist, they're in the canon. I love it so much. However, it's not. It's a little bit of a sin, maybe. The fact that Eagle Moss went out of business. Those orders are probably belong to someone, because there's a lot of orders that haven't been fulfilled, and I bet those should have been delivered to people. But yes. Any final thoughts before we move into some sins?
Let me take a quick look down the line. I do have a question, I guess. There was a moment when Picard, Riker, and Seven are with Shaw eating dinner, and Picard said something about Deep Space 4 and is corrected by Seven. It's Deep Space 11. Is this the writer's attempt to show the degradation of the mind, like to show that Picard is getting older?
I think the problem is he has a golem body. So
but they made it a golem body that was purposefully aged, right?
It's gonna give him another 20 to 30 years of life. Yeah, just of natural life and whatever. But I think it was more that he's out of the loop, and that he's trying to bullshit his way into something where he's still a retired admiral, and this kind of just exposes him one more level to Captain Shaw.
Okay.
That's how I read it anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't tell how to read it. Maybe it's both.
It could be. It could absolutely be both. Yeah, for sure.
There's also a fun moment where Picard and Riker are sharing bunk beds, very Lower Decks-esque, which I really enjoyed, because it was sort of like funny. I think Riker was talking about having to get up and pee a lot in the night, which happens as you get older. And they have these very specific pillows, and I feel like I would be doing a disservice to everyone's spine if I didn't say, get yourself a pillow like this. I have one, and they are so
actually
great.
Indented in. Yeah, they're so good.
They're designed to where if you're laying on your back, it supports the curvature of your neck, and it doesn't allow you to easily like turn left or right, so your head can't you can't be laying on your back and have your neck fully turned to the left or right. It kind of keeps you sort of centered. But if you sleep on your side, you can kip up onto the outer edges of the pillow, and they're firm enough to allow your head to be at a more ergonomic kind of like lateral to the bed sort of vibe, and gives your shoulder space so that your shoulder isn't compressed. And I have a pillow like this. So to see those cool, like futuristic pillows on PICARD, I was like, I already have one of those. And this is not the 25th century.
Oh my God, we've got it. We're living in the future.
I finally have something from PICARD in my actual life. Amazing. You know what I mean? I've wanted their shoes. I've wanted their cookware. I've wanted their
Riker's
dinnerware.
Uniform. Oh, love Riker's. Love the new 2400 uniforms. We've changed uniforms so much in the last few years, but this one is equally beautiful. I love it.
How did you feel about Seven's disregard of orders?
I think it tracks. I'm amazed that Janeway and Picard managed to strong arm her into Starfleet anyway. I think there is a little bit of obligation going there where she's like, maybe I can do some good, but I'm not. I am slightly surprised how she did it without talking to them, because she doesn't really know the urgency behind this. Like this could be anything, but the fact that she has already made the decision before she talks to Picard and Riker, because they've turned up on the edge of Federation space, that means she's already decided to ignore him based on who knows what. So she doesn't really know that this is worth risking her career for. It's really complicated because she's clearly not comfortable.
I'm confused too, because I thought she was a ranger.
She was a ranger, yeah. But after the stuff in season 2, she ends up getting into Starfleet and being fast-tracked into command.
Already in Starfleet, and then she became a ranger. Because she
no. So she got back from. I think she got back from the Delta Quadrant. I think she tried a little bit, but ended up as a ranger on the outskirts really, really quickly.
Oh, okay. So this is her first time in Starfleet.
Correct. Yes.
And she's just not liking it, guys.
No, she's not feeling it. She's really not. No.
But I did like her being like, "Tell me why you're actually here, or I'm going to launch you out of this out of the air locker.
I'll fuck you up."
And they're like, "Well, okay." And she's like, "This is how I speak to my friends. Deal with it." I'm like, I love it. I kind of loved that. But I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand her motivation exactly, and maybe it's because Shaw is so anti-Borg that she just can't handle it anymore, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna tank my career for these two people that I recognize their names.
Yeah,
maybe that's a transition into the Sins. I don't know.
And it's a loyalty thing, isn't it? That she has this loyalty to Picard, where she will do anything he says on very little evidence. It is a little bit cynical, but we needed to get the ship there, I guess. Okay, with that, let's head over to engineering for some Sins. Battle stations, everyone.
And we didn't talk about them finding out that it's the sun. Did you want to talk about that?
Okay, rewind.
Kind of glanced over it.
I guess before we move into the sinning, the very, very last thing is the reveal at the end of the episode that this mystery person on board Crusher's ship is her son.
Yeah. Sure was a surprise to me.
Yeah. Did you guess that early on? When did you figure that one out?
I mean, the way that she protected him at the very beginning, I knew that it would be somebody emotional. So I can make an assumption, but it didn't sound very Wesley to me. I think the voice was a little too low. Wesley's voice is a little high. And also Wesley is not really... He's with Taj, Soji Taj, Maj Taj, as some sort of like whatever watcher being now. Did I do that right? Did I get it right? Did I get he's a watcher?
Yeah, he's a watcher. Yeah. No, sorry, he's a traveler.
Yeah, fuck.
He was close.
Ugh. Well, shit. I was close.
Very close.
Anyway, I thought that was an interesting scene. I really didn't mind Riker and Picard entering into a creepy space, but I wish that would have gone a little bit faster. And because I don't know, to me it was like unnecessary tension since we'd already been in that space. But
and they did like the Sherlock Holmes thing of like putting together the
yeah,
evidence that we've already seen.
let's
We
show
were
the
here for
audience they
this.
still got it, that kind
Yeah,
of
I
thing.
guess that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I did
we
love
see
Riker just clocking him on the nose.
me too. And
Fuck him up.
Beverly is in some kind of a chamber as well. And so she's not quite dead yet, but she's going to be dead soon. And and he's the son. The end of the show. But there's so many things that I have sinful about that particular scene.
Okay.
Or just in general.
Okay.
So should we go to battle stations?
Yeah,
I don't know.
good place to move on to the sins. We'll see you in engineering battle stations, everyone. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV shows without sin, even our beloved Star Trek.
First of all,
go for it. Let's do it.
First of all, if you are such a great doctor, you're gonna have something around. How many hypo sprays have I seen in just these few little seasons of this podcast? She's got something just handy dandy at the ready to stop bleeding. Why is she almost dead?
With anesthetizing gas as well. Like, and she got shot in the shoulder, not in the stomach. But anyway, I'm sure she got shot a couple times.
Yeah. She did. For sure she got shot. But, I mean, still.
You're right. My big thing with this scene is that whenever we see a doctor go to war and go to battle, they find some clever way to do it where like they'll use a hyperspray to stun them, or they set the phaser to stun. Like, something's obviously happened to Beverly where do no harm isn't in her lexicon anymore. And she's just like vaporizing people, and she knows that, like, she goes from a stun setting and shoots the guy in the leg and then vaporizes him. Like, something I hope, and I'm sure it will get explained, but you need a damn good reason for why she is murdering people. Like, stand your ground should not be a thing on Beverly's ship.
Is that the greater sin, or is it that Riker just touches ash of dead people?
I have what the fuck was that about? I'm just going to dust this up with my bare hands. What are you going to do, lick it?
I mean, it's like he's watching sands, just like he picks up on a beach and is having fond memories. This is someone's like charred remains, and he's just like, yeah, it smells a little bit like cedar like to me. Yeah, what is that? Is that lemongrass? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so
very,
weird.
Very
like, why
peculiar.
the fuck are you touching it? Don't fucking touch that. Anyway, but she does have great hair throughout all of this. I mean, listen how perfect her hair is. Yeah.
Oh, she looks stunning. Like, perfect hair in this situation.
Perfect hair.
All of the phaser rifle cocking.
I wrote that down.
What is this? Why are you cocking your energy weapon? Why? That's so inefficient. Why do you like? The only reason you cock a shotgun is because of the amount of force. Like, you have to load that bullet into the barrel, and it is fucking powerful. Why are you cocking a phaser rifle? Who designed that?
Oh my god. So I wondered if it's like I wrote it down. She's got a gun, and then the computer says unauthorized docking is a complete intruder alert, and then she has to cock the gun and it makes a noise. I guess it's for us to know that it's locked and loaded, but it's got lasers, by the way, that apparently have cells that deplete from power. So is it cocked? Does the cocking charge it? Kind of like those flashlights where if you shake them.
Isn't it? It's either powered by a battery or you have to load bullets into it to cock it. I'm sure there's an in-joke that I'm missing there where they just thought, wouldn't it be cool if we had a phaser rifle that you had to cock?
It looked great.
More powerful than the phaser rifles we've seen before.
It looked fucking badass.
But I think somebody in the writer's room was just like, we want to see Beverly cock a phaser rifle. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was alarming and fun at the same time. Like, I would definitely, I love it. I want to watch it again.
Kind of here for it, but it was, silly.
But also, how many things just inside this ship in general would be fucked. It shows like when
so much firing inside, so much.
That opening scene, like, and it's like it looks so badass. It looks so fucking badass. The sound effects are so fun to listen to, and all I'm thinking about is like, isn't this like important stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Should everyone be wanting to live beyond this moment? Because sure, maybe you shoot Beverly, but also how's your oxygen levels or
So
whatever,
many
you
whole
know?
breaches. That was definitely on
And
my list of sins as well.
she like fires this air duct thing for the gas to kind of leak out so she can have a cool cover and kind of like come out of it
Walk
looking
out
like a
of it like a
badass.
fucking badass.
She
Yeah.
looks so great. But then I'm thinking, like, good on you for knowing that that's the thing that you can shoot. Good on you for knowing that the phaser laser, whatever it's made of, can penetrate that duct to break it open, but not penetrate the walls with which you're also
Yeah.
shooting everything. That later on it just looks like a little like ashy skid mark on the side.
Yeah.
Because it bounces off of
Interesting.
that substance. But this particular duct is just going to disintegrate, and you're going to have
deliberately
like a cool
made weaker in case of invasion, and you need
That's
to gas
right.
people.
It's
Yeah.
part of the training people.
It's interesting. It was fun. It was dumb. And I think that sums up the logic behind the opening scene.
The next dumbest thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it. I'm in the same scene as well, but
Oh, go on.
well, mine was the warping away with a docked ship on you. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess we're lucky it just decided to let go. Like, that would have easily been, we can't go to warp because it's going to rip the fucking ship apart. But it's just like, whee! The ship just falls off when she goes to warp. Like, it wasn't even connected.
Yeah, it kind of is just like a little tick that just decided it was going to eat off of the back of a dog when it runs off. It did look cool.
Oh, it looks fucking cool. But I was like,
man, really cool.
I hope there's going to be no explosion, nothing. Okay, cool, good. We're fine. Thank goodness.
My next sin is in the next scene, so.
Oh, okay, cool. Go for it.
It's just the whole how are comm badges staying battery powered after 20 years? Is it a battery? Do they just have forever energy? He receives. It's such a cool premise. I want to just look past
we
it.
Want to see the comm badge.
Of course. And he like goes to his old like chest and opens it up, and his haphazardly folded uniform.
I mean, why?
Anyway, and then it's like kind of shoved off the side, and I wonder if the satchel that the badge was in was maybe one of the things that he took as part of his outfit when he would go onto the holodeck for some of his, adventures or whatever. Because it reminded me of the episode where he goes horseback riding and he wears that like open shirt and looks so studly. Like maybe he had that cool like leather satchel in that scene, and that's where the comm badge is. But either way, it's inside this leather thing. He pulls it out. And he's like, computer, what the fuck is going on here? And computer's like, I can kind of tell you about it. And he's like, why am I receiving it? I don't know why you're receiving a transmission.
This
well,
is
tell
your
me what it
badge
says.
From the Enterprise D. Stardate. Yes, I know. It's my comm badge, you dick.
And then
there was another moment that I just
remembered. You want me to detect the long range encrypted transmission that's somehow been Kodak compressed or whatever. And here we are. Yeah.
There was another moment with the computer being sassy with Raffi, where Raffi's just like, let's run down all of the things the Red Lady could be. And the computer's just like, this is your 23rd search. I was like, the fuck do you care, computer? Like, don't you tell me how many times I'm searching
so
for
sassy.
Sorry.
It's like the computer's like, I don't want to do this again.
Can we please search for something else? The fuck does it matter to you, computer?
I did like hearing the comm badge tweet sound. It was really cute, and I really liked the little chirp, but it was just bad.
It is just the location of it as well, for me, was bonkers. Was like, that was a quiet chirp. Why was it even out? I guess it was out because they're packing things up to leave. But my goodness, that was lucky. Like, if this is an emergency thing, like, it's amazing that he heard that at all. Like, why not? Oh, there's so much convenience in that one comm badge moment, but I get it. It's fun but dumb.
Yeah. I really also I don't know that there's a sin here, but I certainly wrote it down as a possibility of the line that he and Beverly, quote, tried to be lovers. I kind of want to be like, well, where's that scene? Can we see some more of this super failed attempt at Do you have some scenes in mind, Captain?
Season 7, yeah. Or 6. There is an episode where they try and fail, and it's one that we nearly watched actually in the build up to season to this season, but we'll add it to the list. But it's a good episode. It's a good episode.
What's another sin for you?
This was just a weird one where Picard is shocked that Beverly doesn't want Starfleet involved because Starfleet can't be trusted. Really, Jean-Luc? Are you
After
really
all that you've
shocked
been
by
through.
that after
Yeah.
all that you've been through in the last year, in all that you've been through? Like, yeah, Starfleet can't always be trusted. That's should not be shocking to you. Like, I know we're building it as the mystery, but Picard should be like, that checks out.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about Riker calling anybody that is a professional person a young lady, but he definitely gets pretty sassy.
Man, they play
at
on
the
the
bar.
old man being old thing, don't they? As if
It's
he's like
kinda
a
fun.
60-year-old guy who's like raised in the 30s. Like,
Yeah.
no, we call them all as young ladies.
The scene at the bar with Riker seeing all the ships was delightful, and I did watch you at that part because you looked
Man,
so
it's
entertained.
So funny. Like, don't call it the fat one. Don't you do it?
Mhm.
Because it is. It's so chunky. Look at its head. It's so chunky.
For the
But don't you
podcast
do that.
listener, Ian has just lifted up the starship and showed it to the camera. Live audience is able to see it. It's a little chunky one. Yeah, he turns to the lady and he's like, "That's a galaxy class to you, young lady." And I just, in my mind, I could hear all of the people going, "Yeah, it sure is a galaxy class. It's funny. That's a funny line." I'm just like, just don't call anyone young lady. You'll be fine.
I mean, on the same note, he is disgustingly inappropriate to Sydney LaForge, outing her and her accidents. I'm like, how embarrassing is that? This is your dad's friend that has come to your place of work and told you about a mistake you made at college in front of your fellow crew. That's embarrassing as heck. I would hate Riker for that. Sydney should like beam his ass into space.
Yeah, it's definitely showcasing the retired person who's not taking things as seriously.
Can say whatever they want because they're old.
Yeah, just kind of juxtaposed to the person who's like just trying to get their career up and going, and the difference between. I think it would have. Yeah, it was like a little cringe, but at the same time, it's nice to know that person's like issues that they had when they were in school aren't entirely holding them back, because she is on the bridge. So
yeah, she's now piloting a very advanced ship. So I don't know, if you're going to crash, it should be at the academy. While we're on the Titan, I'm going to be old man yells at Cloud here myself, and I know we talked about it earlier, but I do wish the ships wouldn't be so damn dark. I get it. I get that they're dark because when the lights go out, you've already adjusted to the night vision, and your eyes are better, and it has to be dark because it makes more sense, and bright lights, blah blah. But I just want to see the inside of the ship, please. I just want to see the inside of the pretty ship, please.
Where's my beige?
I want to see the bridge.
Honestly.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. Strange New Worlds is better, but still too dark for my liking. But old man yells at Cloud.
I think the hard part for me is that TNG usually makes like dark bridges the bad guy bridges, and then makes the light bridges the good guy bridges. And I'm glad that they're kind of changing that up, honestly, because it's just such a thing. Like, it's ingrained in you, and it shouldn't be color based. It should be action based. That kind of tells you the gauge of someone's morale.
Exactly. You think?
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how, so like, if we're going to be spending time on the Titan, which we don't know yet, if we're going to be spending some time on the Titan, I'm curious what the people of this ship are like, because I really enjoyed seeing the different species. There was some really interesting prosthetic work that was being done. There's a couple people whose like the prosthetic started at the top of the forehead, and then it curved and arched down to the tip of the nose with some open slats above the cheek and on the temple. And I thought that was really beautiful. It was harder to see because the dark background. It was like, and there was a lot going on. The camera was moving from thing to thing pretty quickly, but I really wanted to stop and meet these people, which is exciting. It's exciting to feel that. And I wanted all of a sudden for this to be Strange New Worlds again, where we're stopping and we're going to have fun on a ship now. And here's the crew. So I don't know if we're going to come back and meet these people or if it's like a one-off situation. But yeah, I'm kind of curious what their personalities are because they're obviously a very tight-run ship with everything is well-oiled machine, and you've got this really strict captain. But the people who are the crew were still kind of emoting and smiling and showing that they had personality. They weren't all so tight. Well, there's that one guy that gave the side eye when the captain, when Picard and Riker first walked on. Do you remember that? So, and there's the one guy that was at the bar that gave them the side eye when they walked away from their...
So there's a couple that's the same person.
I wondered.
Yeah,
I
feel like it is the same person because
that was my instinct. I wrote that down, but I'm not until I watch it again. I wouldn't know. Yeah,
but I think that's the same person.
But all that to say, I agree with you. It is a dark ship, but I wonder if the crew is the same. I wonder if they're trying to say something or if it's just an updated version of what like a ship would be.
Well, I have a lot of hope because they did a big character profile thing where they did an introduction for each character, like before the show started. So they said, here's this ensign, here's this lieutenant, and it's all the people that we saw on the bridge. So there's a bald female Vulcan. I can't remember if they're female or non-binary. I can't remember, but there's the bald Vulcan person. There's a Bajoran. There is a Halian who we haven't seen in a long, long time. So they've introduced each of these people and given them a bit of background. So I wonder if this is a precursor to like a Star Trek Titan TV show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That.
Well, that's what I was saying is this bridge is built out for more than one thing.
It feels like it, doesn't it? I really hope
beautiful.
So.
I really want to be on the ship a little bit more. I'm itching for Strange New Worlds.
Well, this is the Star Trek that we love, isn't it? It's a crew on a ship going on adventures. And we really only, yes, we have Discovery for that. But in the current timeline, we really only have Strange New Worlds that's doing that. Prodigy as well. I mean, live action shows. I'm sounding really greedy about my Star Trek, but I just want more, okay?
I just want more, everyone.
I have a super convenient Raffi turning up seconds before the attack. My goodness, like her whole deductive reasoning for working out what the Red Lady was a stretch. She gets there within seconds to witness it. That's a stretch. It's all a stretch, but it's all at the benefit of the pacing. So we get to the point quickly. You just have to blink along and accept that, yay, she made it just in time to witness the thing.
And though we rarely talk about live chat during the podcast proper, I did want to point out one that was mentioned in chat by Slab, who also on the theme of Raffi, who just leaves the drugs on the ground for anyone to find. Yeah, just very careless.
Start their journey. Yeah.
Yeah. I would also sin in that moment that Raffi like is super undercover, and then for the benefit of us, the viewer at home, she like ducks into an alley, straightens up her shoulders, looks really sassy, and then confidently and loudly talks into her. This is a secret, Raffi!
Secret undercover officer Raffi!
Starfleet, are you there? I'm just like, Jesus, where is your subtlety, woman?
Get back to the ship. My goodness.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, I know that was for us, and I guess thanks.
Yes, yeah.
Jesus. Anyway.
Amazing.
What's the other one for you?
I've only got one more. We could spend hours doing this. We really, really could. I have one other big one, which is, are we not using transporters anymore? Not a single transporter beam in this episode. And the thing that stood out the most was when they're approaching Beverly's ship. And I'm like, could you not beam her out? Why did you even have to go into the ship? Beam those life forms onto your shuttle. There was the Nebulous, dude. The Nebulous. Yeah, but there was just a very big absence of transporters in this episode. It just seemed a bit stark to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm looking through. I don't really think. Maybe I would try to sin kind of towards the very end when Kid Crusher turns dramatically to Picard and Riker and it's like, we're being hunted, and they're like, by whom? And he's like, See for yourself.
Bum,
And then,
bum, bum.
and then like
Yeah,
the slow listen, it looked
it's
badass.
beautiful.
It looked beautiful. I love the gnarly looking, like super long, spindly legs coming
Yeah.
out. It looked evil as fuck.
It looks something
But
between the big Romulan mining ship that Nero has in Star Trek, the 2009 one, the big Romulan ship, and also the Scimitar, which is another Romulan ship. So I'm getting Romulan vibes from this ship.
yeah.
It's similar to designs that we have seen. So
It's very
we will
similar.
see.
And maybe that ties back in somehow. We will see. Would we try to send the end credits, which are suddenly no longer Picard music, but are now back
It's
to
so
TNG
I
music?
actually
Like,
forgot
should
to
we send that?
I actually forgot to tell you what my biggest sin was, and it's the best thing about the show is that this has got nothing to do with season 1 and 2. Like this could very easily be Picard season 1. Like it has distanced itself so much from season 1 and season 2. The end credits are totally different. They've ditched the Picard theme pretty much entirely, other than the whistle. I thought the end credits were beautiful, like just showing us the LCARs display, the computer readouts, the little dribblings of information that we're familiar with. I thought it was beautiful. Interesting choice to put it at the end of the episode. I don't dislike it. And the score was incredible. The score was straight out of First Contact, which is my
Oh, it's so cool.
all-time favorite Star Trek score.
Oh,
Beautiful.
man. And I love the visuals too, because it was just all, and it's so crisp. Like, it's super nice to see how far along we've come with graphics and CGI, because it just looks so crystal clear on my screen.
Great definition.
And oh, it's so beautiful, and it's like, it's just nice to look at. But it's also not Picard. It wasn't Picard. And
That's my
I found
biggest
myself
sin.
So I think I would try to send that, and also send that Elnor is nowhere to be found. And I would also send the Google search of the Red Lady scene with Rafi. Those are the last things I would do, because like that moment when she's like, I'm going to take a quick look around for Red Lady again. And then she just like pulls up and it's like poppies on her screen, the color red on her screen. It's like she's literally Googling what are red
thing. She's done a Google image search on red.
Yes.
It's also a bullshit code, because you don't need to do a landmark. You just give some coordinates in code. This isn't how code works. Like the Enigma machine back in World War II was coming up with better coding than this. The Red Lady. That it's such a dumb terrorist code. Like it should be unfrigging guessable. And you know what? It may as well be, because Raffi figures out the mystery too late. And she would have just heard in the news that it blown up. She could have found out after the fact that, yes, this explosion happened behind the statue of Red Garrett lady, of Rachel Garrett. And that's the Red Lady. Great, well done. The terrorists are stupid.
Listen, if this massive statue had been built by Starfleet and she's using a Starfleet vehicle to search for Red Lady, there's no fucking way that giant thing would not have shown up right away. There's no way.
No way. It's insane.
Anyway. Insane. That's it for me, though.
Okay, well, we could go on for hours, but let's just have a quick stop to the Captain's Ready Room for some predictions. Welcome to the Captain's Ready Room, where we hit our predictions for the rest of the season.
Shit.
Or we bask in the Ambassador's Q-Light glory for anything she has predicted so far. None of our original predictions came true in this episode, I don't think.
Yeah. We'll talk about, not yet.
I've given away my big prediction, which is that Worf is the officer, the handling officer from Starfleet Intelligence. I think that, based on his language, that makes a lot of sense. We already know.
Let's predict how Elnor is going to come back.
He's going to come back and murder. We find out that Elnor has a holographic badge on him that makes him look like Dr. Crusher, and he's the one that's vaporizing everybody. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh man, predictions. It's interesting because they've got this weapon technology that they're obviously talking about, and then there's this, like, what are they going to do with this technology? How is this going to play into? How are they going to get the Titan people and Picard and Riker and Seven and Beverly's son all onto the Titan and tie it into this weapon, and how they're going to have to do something with this weapon, and how does the people who are going for the weapon relate to the people who are hunting them? And does that relate to like how are they going to pull all this together? Do you have any predictions for like what the next
Well,
step is going to be?
clearly somebody that has a murder boner for Starfleet. I don't know why they're targeting Crusher. Crusher clearly knows something sketchy about Starfleet. So maybe this is tied back to, because we know that people, what are they called? The Tao Shiar and then the other people, the Zatvash infiltrated Starfleet in season 1. So maybe there's still some of these evil people in high positions in Starfleet, and that's why it's not Starfleet in general that we can't trust, but it's some infiltrators that can't be trusted. And maybe they're working from the inside out to bring down Starfleet, is my very general idea. How we get everybody together from there, I think Captain Shaw is going to have new orders based on the terrorist attack. He will have new orders, and Picard's going to have to come forward with what he knows about Beverly's distress call, and they're going to end up on the Titan, still with Captain Shaw in command, but he's been told to help Picard. It's going to have to tie into Picard specifically.
What if Starfleet completely collapses while they're away, and now they're the top most ranking people?
It would definitely be on brand for it. It's the only ship in the sector. Who do you think is the father of Beverly's son?
There's like you said earlier, technically there's a lot of different choices, a lot of different options. But I can't stop thinking about how Jack's bag was there. Like, was there DNA in there? Was she able to like replicate a son somehow?
I just don't know why. I mean, I can imagine her being annoyed that Wesley has gone off to do her own thing, and maybe that's why
their own thing.
Yeah, Wesley. Yeah, because he's a traveler now. Yeah. So maybe she wanted help to find Wesley, and they were all just like, nah, he's off doing his own thing. So maybe she felt abandoned by everybody, and cloned her own son, made her own son.
She could have. Maybe he's an android.
Possible. Seems like a leap.
Seems like he would have said something about it, and maybe not been able to be punched in the face quite so easily.
Possibly, unless it's an organic, because we know Soji and Daj were indetectable as androids. They had physical bits altogether.
Yeah. We talked about that like in excess in Picard season 1 of this podcast. You know,
yes, we did. Yep.
Yeah.
Do they have cycles and whatnot? Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think what the fans are going to want is Picard. I think that it would be really interesting if they never answer that question though, because what would it matter? Is my response.
We all want it to be Picard's son because we want the legacy to go on. We want the family line to go on. Who knows?
I feel like there's going to be a major attack on Starfleet. Starfleet's going to have to come together. We're going to be able to see other people that we haven't seen. We haven't seen Worf or LaForge. We also haven't seen Mr. We haven't seen why can't I think of the actor's name who plays LaForge? Why?
LeVar Burton.
Burton. We haven't seen Burton's daughter. The other daughter.
Oh, Mika Burton.
And I know she's in this somehow.
Yes,
so
she is.
It's not just one. There's another,
both
right?
daughters. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. So, but that's a prediction that shouldn't really count because I kind of just have some, and I know information because I
imagine she's working at the museum with him.
Maybe
that would make sense.
But then, like, I don't know. How is this going to end? How does this wrap up? Will Deanna come back? What about the children? Are we going to see Rafi's son? Are we going to see Riker's daughter again? Like, how and where and why and how?
Who and why
and when
and how
and what and how?
It's set up some good mysteries. I think we'll get a lot more in episode 2. Obviously, that's going to set up a lot more for the rest of the season. I'm excited.
Can we also make an assumption that at this point the Android, the ban on the droid stuff is going to be done now, and maybe there's going to be some advancements there again?
because that has been lifted. That was
It has
lifted
been
at the end of
lifted.
the last season. So
Mhm.
I would love to explore that more. I mean, again, this is where I hope we go with the Star Trek Titan series. I would love that so much. I want to get into the
There's no
2400s
way.
people.
There's no way that they built that whole ship with it just for one season of
I hope
Picard.
so. I hope not. I hope we do
I don't
get
know.
it.
We'll see.
I
We'll
hope
see.
so. Okay, bumper, massive episode, unsurprisingly, as we kick off the biggest Star Trek event of the decade, I would imagine. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you, everyone, in the live show for joining us. We will be back live on YouTube Live and Twitch, roughly 12:30 Central Time, every Friday, the day after each episode of Picard launches. And if we're seeing you on the podcast, thank you for downloading the podcast. There is an army of you listening to us, and we appreciate you so much. We love you.
Yeah.
Any suggestions for the show, email them to captainspod. Damn it. Captainspod at cinemasins.com.
Good job.
Suggestions for
Good
the
job,
show,
Captain.
anything you want to hit, nailed it. So professional. We love you. We appreciate you. Anything else before we sign off, Ambassador?
No, I would just say we do have a lot of new listeners who are going back and finding like our content on season 1 and season 2 of Picard, and we expect that's probably going to be the case when Strange New World starts again. So it's nice having you guys along. We invite you to the live show, as Ian said, but also if you want to share this podcast with your friends and give us a rating or review on where you listen, specifically Apple Podcasts, it does help us out so
really
that
does.
we can collaborate with other great Star Trek fans and spaces, and maybe bring some really fun interviews to you guys in the future too. So
Absolutely. Well, until then, I never.
what are you about to say?
I'm never present for the start of a meal because everyone already starts because my reputation precedes me. From me.
And I have 2 quotes, so I'll say one. Come on, Admiral, show your inspection face. Or if I were you, I'd lower my expectations for me.
Out my knees. And live long and prosper. Oh, final sin that we did miss. No Agnes. No Agnes Girardi.
No Agnes.
Fucking love Alison Pill. My
Oh,
girl.
Back to you guys. You're fucking on fire today.
You are
It was so
troopers.
hard to ignore your chats. I hate it.
For the record, I
Mm.
did not steal my Worf prediction from anyone. Just because you guys predicted it too, as soon as I saw Warrior, I was like, Worf, that's how you bring Worf in.
Does someone
I
sound
didn't do
guilty?
that. I'm not
Someone
stealing
sounds so guilty.
everything, okay? I do have my own thoughts, you bastards.
Oh my God. All right. Well, let's get through some of these comments.
My goodness, so
First,
many.
I want to point out that JCD's Star Trek trivia question of the day is, what is the name of Captain Archer's pet beagle? So you can...
Porthos.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
I was going to say,
Sorry.
chat, do you want to guess before Ian
Sorry.
does? But Ian has jumped the gun. That's now done.
Not Porthos. Sorry. I'm going to say in the live chat so I can do the new things.
Okay,
You bring up
sounds
the
good.
questions in the
Perfect.
comments.
All right, your turn.
Yeah. I can't because I'm in the live chat.
Okay, well, then I'll do this one. The bar in the show with all the ships remembered me of Ian's shelf. Me too!
Oh, there it does. Look at it. Oh, I loved it. It's the same
Me
stance.
too.
I loved it.
Same
Loved it so
exact
much.
ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that guy dropped the ship into his cup.
What
does
a
it fuck?
dick.
Oh, I should have predicted that guy. Who is that guy? What is he doing? He's obviously a spy of some kind. He's
How did he know they were
stalking-
going to be there? Did he
How did he
intercept the
know?
message? How does he know?
I mean, don't you think that somebody would be like, hey, that dick just dunked a ship into my drink? Anyway.
Oh, and we didn't mention the... Oh, I'll put this somewhere. I'll definitely put it in the outtakes. I love the
that was
in
so nice.
memoriam to Annie
Yeah.
Wershing at the end.
Yeah, that was
absolutely
nice.
love that. So good.
Here's a question from Flyboy. Are multiple TARDIS called TARDI?
Well, it's a weird one because it stands for time and relative dimension in space. I think it would be TARDISes because you would have to change the initialism because the S is important. So no, I think is the answer.
I wanted to give a shout out. Just like about 15 minutes ago, I saw somebody pop into the chat that I wanted to
their
say
first
hi
time?
to. Yeah, did you see that?
I did see it. I'll
Okay,
see
I'm
if
gonna
I
go back
can
and find
pull
it.
it out. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
You find it. Go for it.
Okay.
Zingstoke says Eagle Moss is thriving in the 25th century. Good news. I can only hope, honestly. They are coming back. I think Master Replicas are going to be producing their models now.
Where are you? Where are you, person that I saw on Twitch?
Is this the person that was like
here's from Zink says, just reviewed the footage. Bard Dude and Titan Dude do not look like the same person at all.
Oh, interesting.
This is good information, so they're not the same.
My mistake.
I like it. Because I was wondering the same exact thing. Oh, I think I'm getting close. I think it's Vigo, maybe? I'm getting close.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Vigo. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I love your podcast. And It's a great reason to revisit my favorite series. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
We're glad you're here.
So glad you're enjoying it. That's awesome.
Thank you for saying so. We are very lucky to be able to hang out with you guys like this every week. Very, very lucky. Okay, back to you. Are you? Do you have one?
Yep. Link says, will the Derp Prize make an appearance at Sin Week? Fine.
No.
Oh no, it won't. Oh
no.
Shit.
No,
Shit.
Listen. Let me tell you something about the Derpa Prize, guys.
Oh, you think it's too fragile to
This
travel?
thing could be sneezed upon and fall apart. Like, look at it. It is so wonky.
I'm gonna paint it.
This is clay. No, you're never painting this. This is what it looks like. In fact,
Remember
I wish
when it
you
was
wouldn't have
flesh-colored?
painted.
Yeah,
because
you
it
wanna
was
keep
just
it
this
flesh-colored?
awkward flesh color.
Somebody said
This
it
is
looks like the Titan. It kind of does.
Barely
it kind
held
of does
together,
look like
guys.
the Titan.
Look at this thing. It is.
You guys are the worst.
No. It's too fragile. It's too fragile, Link. I don't want to risk it. Thank you, Plot King. We appreciate you very much for watching our content. Oh, hey, I wanted to tell you guys too. We do have a Sin Club on Patreon, patreon.com/cinemasins for people. They get the videos an entire day early. We have a special Cinmentary that we do once a month where the writers of something, like one of the things that we release on the main channel, I can't think of the word, videos. Yeah, it's a long day. It's a long day, you know, the things that we do for a living. The writers get together and rewatch the video with commentary. We also have, during Sin Week, we release videos just to the Sin Club. In fact, I just finished my script for one of those videos yesterday. I'm really excited about it. And we also are releasing some new content once a month that is an audio format, thanks to Ian picking up this project. It's something that we've wanted to do for a long time, and it's one of the most requested things that we have, actually. Besides people requesting us to do a specific movie, people want to hear Jeremy's bloopers when he's doing the narration. And so Ian went through every single narration file from January and pulled out the highlights and put it together in about a 5.5-minute clip. And it's available to our lowest tier. So if you're not a Sin Club member and you want to support over on patreon.com/cinemasins, you can find content like that. It's so funny. So thank you for being a fan. We don't ask anything from you on Twitch or as a Sin Club member on Patreon, but just in case you want to know, you can find out more. And there's a really fun group of people to connect to that talk about all this stuff and more at Discord. So if you're not involved in the fan community on Discord, please join there. We have an incredible group of moderators that are there every single day, all day long, just making sure that the chats are all having a fun time. We're very, very lucky to have an incredible fan base. So welcome to the digital space where we get to hang out, and thank you for being here. Okay,
we love you guys.
Spiel's over. Sorry.
No,
I get really passionate.
We love our people. We want to give you more things. Sarah says, Captain Shaw is really not doing anything wrong, but God, I want to believe raspberries at him. It's so true. It's a great way to sum it up. It's like, well, so there.
Yeah, he's a dick. Here, Zeke says, major sin is sidelining Laris again. I agree.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. Something about her voice. I really love her voice.
Oh, it's really calming. It's that slightly Irish lilt. I love it so much. Zangief says, I like the series because it shows that a utopia is not always a utopia for everyone. This series is kind of like the Demolition Man of Star Trek. Yeah, we've shifted like kind of from Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine onwards, we've kind of shown that this isn't all sunflowers and buttercups, and there is a darkness to the world.
It's so scary.
Oh,
Puppy,
you got to cuddle the
one?
Twiki. Cuddle the Twiki.
You want to do the next one? You're
Touch
Twig.
his face. Okay.
Jagged says, I'm super excited. The critics who have screeners are saying the first 6 episodes are exactly what they wish season 1 and 2 were. And this is a complete triumph after 2 very shaky seasons.
Gives me a lot of confidence.
It is exciting. I know.
It really
me
does.
too. Me too. I feel like you said earlier, season 1 and 2 almost gave permission for season 3 to happen. And I'm okay with that.
Yes. No, I get it. I get that point of view. I see it.
Sarah says, I wonder why Crusher is mad at everyone. Do we know? All I remember was she became the captain of a medical ship called Mercy. I don't know. Does it say that she was mad specifically?
Yeah, well, no, Riker said, why did they cut her off? Like, why did she cut them off? Like, she just kind of disappeared.
But that doesn't mean she was
stopped
mad.
returning their calls.
Does
I
it?
think it's just implied, isn't it? But after 20 years of friendship, why do you cut people off?
Because you're mad.
Well, exactly. But she, in terms of like the ship Mercy, there was some self-correction in the chat as well. In the last episode of TNG, she ends up captaining a ship called the Pasteur, which was a medical relief ship. But that's kind of like an alternate timeline thing.
Oh, interesting.
So we don't know whether that's actually relevant to this timeline or not.
8 says she's from an alternate timeline where she and Picard had a kid, but things went wrong and she and Kid ended up back in the new timeline.
Makes sense. Makes as much sense as anything else. I kind of like it.
I like that. That's kind of fun.
I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Link asks, whatever happened to the Enterprise after Picard left the ship? Is it still around in the show's timeline?
So there is some ancillary media that went up on Instagram. I won't get too spoilery, but the Enterprise E has been retired. And there is currently an Enterprise F out there somewhere, but we know very precious little about it. But we know we don't know what happened to the Enterprise E after Picard left it. We still don't know any of that. Yes, puppy time. What else have we got? Link says, I like how Picard called out Riker for calling him captain, then Picard called him number 1 right away. It's like, let's keep the pet names. It's funny.
So great.
I love it.
When he said captain, and Picard was like, what?
I'm sorry, force of habit.
Oh, Zink said, I made the mistake of looking at the cast for the season and hit a major spoiler, but I'm keeping it to myself because I care. Thank you for keeping it to yourself.
Spoilers abound everywhere. It's so
it's hard to avoid. Yeah, it really is. Ian, have you picked what we are going to be watching for Sin Week yet?
I have. I don't know when we're going to announce it.
Okay.
Strictly speaking, we aren't going to be watching anything.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Don't say anything else.
Okay.
What if Picard went back in time, messed things up, and Data comes back to life and takes over Lore's body, says Link.
Mind blown.
No, don't do it, right?
Data's wrapped up. He's done. They're not going to do anything else with Data.
No, because you have to let him have his death so that he has his humanity, right? Like, that was the whole thing.
He wanted it. He wanted to die.
That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
So if you bring him back, it's such a way to disrespect the character, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know.
Totally
Maybe
agree.
I'm wrong about that because I love Data. Super love Data.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to find another android, honestly. They need to bring in another android character that can
more androids.
Move the android into this next phase.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Nick says, I like how in Voyager they have a dark mode for battle, which I always thought was weird because wouldn't you want the light in a battle situation to make sure that you can see the buttons you're hitting? Now, the logic behind red alert and the lights going down is that if the ship is in danger and the lights go out completely, your night vision is already intact. So red doesn't affect your night vision. So you can have the red lights around you, and then when they disappear, your night vision is already adjusted. So it's a tactical thing but it's merely just an aesthetic thing for me. I want to be able to see the bloody shit.
Let's go to this comment. From Eights asks, has Wesley seen his mom since he became a traveler? Do you know the answer to that?
Yes, I do. In Nemesis, he is present for the opening scene of Nemesis. No spoilers, because the ambassador hasn't seen that movie, and we will see it at some point. But yes, they have seen each other on screen in canon.
It's hard to not spoiler. I appreciate you guys trying to give me as much space as I can to kind of experience the content with that like new watch eye. It's not always easy to do, but I do appreciate you guys trying to keep it spoiler free for me.
Yeah.
But I understand sometimes things are going to come up, and I can usually do just fine. But if you know the answer and you want to put it up in chat, I can pretty quickly just like look away and try to forget it instantly, because I forget a lot of things.
Nice.
So many things that I forget. It might be scary a little bit. Sarah says, I have been watching CinemaSins since high school, and now I'm doing my PhD. And I think about that all the time. Like that you've kind of grown up with content. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have this
really
happen
cool.
too. Like Ian, he was a consumer of the content and then became a writer. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I watched I saw it was an article on like Sci-Fi Wire or Blaster or something. It's a news outlet that isn't around anymore. And it literally put up the Amazing Spider-Man video. I was like, hey, look at these guys that did everything wrong with Spider-Man. I was like, oh, that's cool. And watched every video every week ever since. Yeah, it's a cool channel, cool group of people.
And then this one from Lolly, one of them are amazing mods, who says, Danae, you need a patron command to link. I'm working on it right this second. I'm doing it.
Beautiful. I didn't do the writers one either. I need to add that to my list with all the details and whatnot. Slab says, I just watched the TOS episode last night with the Daystrom dude. They named the whole institute after this guy. They did. The Daystrom Institute of Cybernetics and something like that. They do loads of stuff with Android, ship design. It's where a lot of the new starships are designed. So yeah, Daystrom is an important dude. Most definitely. Cool episode of the original series as well.
All right, if somebody wants to try exclamation point Sin Club in the chat, we'll test to see if I did that correctly. And then we're going to go find somebody to go and raid. We're still building up the community on our CinemaSins channel for Twitch. So for those of you who are on Twitch a lot and you want us to check out a specific channel, you can always let us know about your friends, and we will go and watch them. What?
I will go and raid.
Oh, I thought you said there was a raid coming. I was like, damn it, this is like the worst time.
This would be shitty timing. Be the worst. Well, I'm going to go and play some Minecraft now to make the most of this audience.
Let's talk about where you guys can hang out with us for the rest of the weekend and into the next week. So Fridays are supposed to be a day that I actually stream on my channel. However, lately it has been very difficult for me to do that given just the amount of work and life shit going on, to be quite honest with you. I haven't had the energy for it. But there's a strong possibility that I will be playing Babs tonight. So you can always follow me on Twitch. Just follow Danae Says, DeneeSays. And if I am able to stream my roleplay game where I play this sassy character called Babs, it will be probably around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. So that will be something that you guys can potentially enjoy tonight. On Mondays, pretty consistently for the last month, Chris has been playing Last of Us. I believe he intends to continue to try to do that. You can watch our schedule on this channel for updates on Chris playing Last of Us on Mondays. He starts around what time?
He starts at 7:30 Central and plays up until about 11:30 to midnight, roughly. Yeah.
So he's been making his way through Last of Us. You can kind of look into some of our videos, our VODs, to see his vibe. Just a chill, laid back Chris playing video games. On Tuesdays, really we have Recotopia, which is the podcast that Jeremy and Chris have together where they review movies. And then on Fridays, of course, is Captain's Pod. So we'll be back next Friday for episode 2 of PICARD. And I think that kind of covers everything. Are you planning on trying to jump on and stream anything in the next week, Ian?
So next week, not firmly committed now because timelines are messy, but I'm going to be starting to stream some Minecraft because I'm a 14-year-old boy and I adore Minecraft. I haven't played in about 6, 7, 8 years, long time. So I'm going to be diving back into some Mario Kart. Damn it, it's because you just put it on screen. Some Minecraft.
Sorry.
I'll build whatever you want me to build, or I'll just be exploring. It's just going to be a really chill stream. Mario Kart will be as and when we really want to do it, but we don't know when. Jeremy will potentially be doing some streaming of some golf in March. So there's a new golf game that comes out. Not entirely sure on times yet, but he would love to do some chill streams of playing some golf online. So yeah, lots more gaming to come from the Twitch channel.
We will be playing Mario Kart. To answer your question, yes. It genuinely, and if tonight, if I'm not able to mentally handle roleplay as Babs, I may play Mario instead. I'm not entirely sure. So,
and I'll be here for it.
It's difficult to kind of know. But here on the CinemaSins channel, you should be updated on the calendar. And yeah, so we try our best to kind of communicate, but obviously we're a team of a lot of different people at different times. So what is everyone having for dinner? That's a good question. I think tonight,
I'm about to make a chicken curry.
I'm going to make Parmesan chicken tonight. So
nice.
Chicken just everywhere.
Chicken all over the place.
I wish Jeremy would old school talking to myself videos. I love those. Oh my God. Those were so good.
Fun. Tricky to
Weren't
produce.
Those so fun?
They're really fun.
Oh,
yeah.
They're really good. We need a CinemaSins server in Minecraft. You know, I've actually thought about this, JCD. I've actually thought about talking to like MocoMade, for example, because they have such an active community. And one of the best parts of joining like a community that games is activity. And since CinemaSins, we haven't really developed this part, I was thinking it might be easier to start with an active community and then just like amplify what someone else is already doing rather than trying to remake it. And speaking of MocoMade, that's actually who we're going to raid today because they're really helpful when it comes to gaming. You're not wrong. They're here on Twitch all the time. They're super like us, snarky, cursing, strong individuals with strong opinions that are entertaining and unapologetically are themselves. Those of you who do not know, they are a sibling duo that works. The sister, Devin, is a leatherwork painter, and she also does other things too. She makes jewelry. They do like work with lasers and kind of cutting into different things, and she's actually hand painting something that's just fucking mind-blowing. Her brother, Derek, who does a lot of work with leather as well, but they are amplifiers of community. So if you're into art of any kind, you're going to find so many incredible people that join this chat, and they're always very active and very supportive. They tell you about so many other streamers. You will learn about all of this incredible community on Twitch through them, and they have a very active Discord as well. So if you're ever looking for someone to just game with or hang with, they're a great hang. And I believe Derek tried to shave his beard into the shape of a mustache, something to do with Batman today. I don't really know what's going on.
Amazing.
But they're always up to something. They're called the Sibling Shit Show. I've written them into a CinemaSins script before. And something that's kind of fun to note is that they've actually been having people coming to their Twitch channel from watching our content saying, did you know that your Twitch stream is on CinemaSins inside? And they're like,
amazing.
Yeah, we know. So I've just been a huge fan of theirs for a long time. So that's where we're going to go. A lot of you guys know them already. So we're going to go over there today. Tell them I said hi. I can't follow over today because I got a whole bunch of work to do to get ready to be Babs tonight if I can. So love to you guys. Ian, anything else before we go?
Oh, let's go.
Bye.
Bye. Love you all.